Owls have cocks.
Welcome to
JJ, that's what this session is called. Hello, gentlemen. How's it going? Welcome back to D&D. Quick recap for you all. Last time in Inksworth, you woke up after a hard day of fighting demons and sorted out some stuff with some statues. That went on for an excessive amount of time. Bought some odds and ends for the boat, fishing rods, things like that, and then headed up to the capital via the river. Going up to the capital via the river, you stopped to investigate where you saw a goblin dead on the bank of the river, and a guy and a guy in a boat who was also dead. The two bodies had been taken away, and as you stopped, you were ambushed by some goblinoids who got absolutely destroyed. But they seem to have acquired some weapons of dwarven design, the guns that were advertised at the party at Fort Jonah. After that, you headed on to the capital. When you arrived at the capital, Gylndan went off to the library to investigate some things he's looking into, and everyone else went on to the tavern, wherein you were told that two men from Blackwind had come and asking where you were, telling you to meet them somewhere else in the Cloud District. You went there and you found out that it was Ralph and Harrison, two people you'd met way back in the last campaign when you were fighting some vampires. Turns out that they're now working for Mazzarious Barrenhill, the Lord of Blackwind, who is a vampire. They were vampires and they attacked you because they wanted the egg that Oramis took and refused to give to Mazzarious.
Doesn't sound like Oramis.
I literally don't have it to give.
You literally don't, no. And after a poor deception check via Doc trying to blag that it was in Northgard, they proceeded to attack. It was
briefly.
At one point.
At one point in time.
I never lied, technically.
After a brief bit of combat, a grueling bit of combat, you bested them. And
can we take a second to appreciate that Luke wanted to deal with those two by himself at one point?
Yeah, I was terrified at that point because I was like, oh my god, if I play this thematically, I'm just going to have to say, Luke, roll up a new character, they're going to kill you.
Could there not have been an argument made for them taking him prisoner to get to us? Well,
yes.
And then killed him afterwards.
But, yeah, probably. Anyway, so I don't have the map on it, but you are in the capital. You have just defeated Ralph and Harrison. They, if you remember, they sort of went into a puff of sort of necrotic mist and flew away as these ethereal sort of bats way back south. Gylndan, you're still at the library.
Hey, what's happening?
So I'll ask everyone else, what would you like to do now? Would you go back to the tavern, or would you go see Gylndan, or what?
Yeah, I don't think we're feeling too hot. Having said that, not actually that much. So,
I need to check that because
Could do with a stiff drink, I imagine.
yeah, I think a drink is more in order.
Alright.
I don't know, maybe we wanna... yeah, I think we'll just head back probably. Mm-hmm.
Let's just head. Yeah, I think we're going to head back to the.
We'll wait for him.
Alright, you head back to the tavern, the Westland Tavern. The manager there, the dwarf who greeted you earlier on, greets you as you enter. He has a seat sort of ready in the corner, not specifically for you, but he just directs you there. Like, oh, it's quite a nice seat. You guys look like you've had a rough evening. Sit you down there.
Spit blood out. Like, yeah, we're fine.
You can have a couple of drinks. If you want a drink, take off 2 copper. Gylndan, arrives way back at the tavern a couple of hours later. Gylndan, was there anything else you wanted to do in the library or in and around the capital while you were away?
Then I've taken 6 copper.
Excellent.
Are the stables open, Ben?
Same.
The stables
I'll
are
also
open.
take
Yes,
off
they're
6.
open. Sort of.
Looks
all
like we're
night
taking
to
off
go.
6 copper.
I mean,
Oh dear God. We'll get to you guys' drunkenness in a moment then.
What?
I think that's one round.
I think I'll just. Okay.
Sorry, Sam.
Yeah, true.
That's alright. I think I will just head to the stables and pay someone 5 gold to take Chikara up to Northgard.
Yeah, that's cool. You head to the stables. A guy greets you. He mentions that Chikara's had a lot of people have been interested, not necessarily in like buying her and stuff, but just the fact that in like the regular stables, there's all these fancy horses and then this one massive elephant. But yeah, he mentions that like soldiers are heading north up to Northgard in like the next day or so. They can take her up there, and she'll be there within the next sort of couple of days, maybe like three or 4 days.
That's 5 gold, Ben.
Yeah, 5 gold. And anything else after that point?
No,
Or
I'd head
just-
back after that, I think.
Cool, heading back after that. So, gentlemen, we'll start with Oramis. Oramis, you had 3 drinks. Can you make me 3 Constitution saving throws?
Yes, I can. Is that gone through?
Oh, that's a good start.
Oh,
This guy is drunk. His first drink, you're bloody low.
He's
Yeah,
got a
I'm
lot
trying
of
to find the
levels.
rules for it. Okay, so there's the rules. So that's a 1, 16, 16. So 1 is a fail. You are tipsy. You gain advantage on charisma-based checks and saving throws.
oh, because I need that.
And 2 16s, you're perfectly fine after that. The DC for regular ale is, I think, it's like 12. So that's fine. Next, we'll go to Doc. You make these with advantage because you're resistant to poison.
Out.
Oh,
Doc, you also have advantage. So the first 2 you sort of take like a champ. The final one begins to get to your head a little bit. You're getting a bit fuzzy. You're a little bit tipsy, maybe slurring your words a little bit. And Mazzy, 3 Constitution saving throws. Oh Lord.
Oh.
All right. Yeah, you're all. So Gylndan, you get back, and
Everyone's
your
in a
party
really good
are.
mood.
Yeah, everyone's in a fairly good mood considering Oramis has a couple of scratches sort of over him, maybe a little bit of a black eye. Also, he has like 2 still like dried blood over near his neck with these 2 sort of imprints. Mazzy has exactly the same and a couple of cuts and scratches. Dokrumir doesn't look as bad, but still a little roughed up.
What happened to you, you ugly bunch of bastards?
what happened to you, you piece of shit?
We met.
Had a really tough session in the library. Friends. Our friends treat each other.
They are when they're called Harrison and Roger.
Oh, those 2 louts. Do you mean Harrison? Would you say Harrison?
Harrison and Roger.
Ralph.
Harrison and Ralph and Roger.
There were 3 of them.
Where was Roger?
Well, there's 2 of you
We need to
now,
go back and
Gylndan,
kill Roger.
so it seems quite likely that there was 3 of them. I'm really leaning towards drunkenness. I'm only tipsy.
Yeah, you've only
rolled
filled
quite well,
once.
I like
I mean, you're like a little bit tipsy.
You can offer some serious Gimli vibes.
Yeah, so, Ralph and
Oh, you sold it very
Harrison.
quick. Oh, yeah, so actually, Ralph and Harris came to town and we dealt with them.
Yeah. They're
Nice.
not vampires.
Oh. Did you still have your stakes on you?
Nope.
It wasn't very effective.
Was it not?
I stabbed him, which was actually a bad idea.
Oh god, I forgot about that.
No, I tell you what's a bad idea is casting a level 4 spell on some goblins.
What do you know about spells, Oramis?
Oh,
Suddenly, more than I used to.
That they exist.
it looks like you've had a very eventful evening.
What did you
Yeah, you missed
do
out on the
in
fun.
the? What did you do in the library?
I was looking up some things about religion. I won't say too much, but I think there might be something for us to do after we deal with Niamat, if we survive that.
Oh,
Nothing bad.
oh?
Oh, is this how you achieve god status? Or
I mean, just outside of character, I don't know. But no, I'll tell you when I know more. I don't want
okay.
to speak before I know everything. But I did. It was fruitful. I did find some stuff.
Good. Well, I'm glad you got what you're looking for.
Do you have like a cabin in your boat, Oramis?
I have a storage, like a big storage box. Don't I,
Is
Ben?
it big enough for an elephant?
Yes,
no,
you have a.
Chikara's not
you have
coming
a
on the
small sort of cabin, big enough. If you imagine, it's about the size of 2 large chests, so maybe enough to stow, like cram in a person. They would not be comfortable. About as big as like a large.
Immediately person.
No, just trying to get. Okay, so if you imagine sort of like the trunk of a car, it's about the size of like a trunk of a car. Like
Okay.
a Land Rover.
Mhm.
So decently sized, big enough for you to fit in all the stuff that you've currently got in, and a little bit more. On the deck, there really isn't much space at all. Which
Not
I'll
with
get
all
to.
4 of us.
Which I'll get to in a little bit.
So is there somewhere I could just sit and meditate in? But on your boat tomorrow, I'd like to try and have a vision of what awaits us in Northgard, and I need a bit of privacy for that.
You could sit at the bow of the boat, and
Could do that as well.
we can all
need-
go at the back.
Need to create like
If you're really good,
a zone.
you could take my shield and you could put it on top of the mast, and then you could like, sit on that.
Need like enclosed space because I've got lots of incense that I need to be able. It sort of transports me.
Well, if you don't mind being cramped, there's a
that's
little
okay.
bit of a storage box you could squat
Okay.
in.
I'll give that a whirl tomorrow though when we set off.
Oh, I'm
Squatting in.
loving the idea of this. I need
Awesome.
to focus. Okay, get in the boot.
Is there anything
Sounds a lot
else?
like stolen goods in here.
Is there anything else you guys want
This
to
is
do, or anything before the evening's out?
Ben, could I possibly go out and buy that sword we were talking about?
Yes. Well, obviously it's the
Oh,
evening
in the
now,
morning.
but in the morning, yes, of course, you can go do that. So yeah, we can.
Nothing like a 1 a.m. trip to a sword shop.
Let's just say I probably did it before. I just forgot. I just remembered to. Sorry.
No.
Bad timing.
So you guys arrived there after dark, so everything was shut by the time you got there. So it probably makes sense to do the
Oh,
next
yeah.
morning. So
Okay, cool.
you guys can head up to bed. I think you already took
Yep.
3 gold off the last session.
Yeah,
So
I need
go to bed,
my long
refill health and spell slots and all that fun stuff. As you gain the benefits of a long rest.
Come back to me.
Thank you, Mr. Ben.
Level 4 spell slot.
And you wake up once again in the morning. It is a bright, fresh new day. The streets of the capital are very, very busy, actually. Seeing as you guys have been to the Western Tavern a couple of times now, and it's maybe likely that you'll come back, I'll paint you a bit of a word picture. It's quite a simple little place. Big sort of square room at the far end. There's obviously the bar. These 4 sort of pillars, wooden sort of pillars, keep it up. Sort of round tables of high, tall chairs by them. Booths sort of all around the sides. There's lots of flowers everywhere. The 2 owners of the bar. So one of them is a dwarf. And one of them it's a dwarven man and a female human. They're both quite old. She's tending to a lot of the flowers. Like on every table, there's like a little pot with a flower on it out the front. there's like this big sort of section of flowers and vegetation and stuff that she is tending to. Whereas as you wake up, the dwarven man is sort of just wiping down some mugs and things like that. You can have your breakfast. You head out, and when you head out onto the streets, it seems like there's quite a lot of celebration this morning. There is a lot of people out. Banners are sort of hung from all different windows and everything of a different symbol, a sword sort of going up one way and a hammer going down the other. Seems to be some kind of celebration, some kind of special day for something.
The war in Northgard is over.
Not quite, but obviously you can make a history or religion, either or, to determine what the day is.
Well, I'll do a history one.
Oh,
I'm good at this, he says.
oh no, I got 17. Who got the 1?
Oh no, Gylndan, yeah, you got a... Alright, yeah,
7, I think you'll find. Not a 1.
Gylndan, even though you've lived in the capital for many years, you are sort of struggling to remember what day is it? What was all that mean? Whereas the other guys would tell you it's Saint Caracan's Day, everybody. Yeah, it's generally just a day of celebration, a celebration of the people. Long story short, years and years and years ago, there was this terrible queen who ruled Ambyr. She was a bitch. She was also the archmage. She's a queen and archmage. And this man, Caracan, he was a dwarf. He led a rebellion to fight back against her and bring the power back to the people and all that good stuff. As you walk through the streets, there are clerics of war stood in their deep sort of red robes, giving out sort of pendants of Caracan. These small little, almost like if you sort of think of like little silver coins with the symbol of the sword and the hammer. They're charging like 3 silver for them. Obviously, it's like a tithe for the churches, but so you can pick one of those up if you would like. Otherwise, it's fine. You're traveling through the city. It's quite hard, actually. Even though the tavern is really, really close to the docks, it takes you a little while just through the sheer amount of people. A lot of different stalls have like randomly been set up to just sort of sell little cloths and rags and odd little trinkets for St. Caracan's Day. And the docks, again, are filled with all these sort of put-me-on merchant shops and things like that. And as you head to the Dragon's Revenge, you notice a similar figure waiting next to the ship itself. Not a similar figure, a familiar figure. The figure wears long blue robes that are sort of decorated and adorned with bright patterns. He holds a long staff, a little sort of pointed hat that sort of bends back, big beard. It's Professor Rast, Archmage Rast.
Yeah.
He turns and greets you as you enter. Oh, gentlemen! I've been asking around about you, and apparently this was the ship you rode in on. How are you all?
Not a ship. It's a boat.
Boat ship. How are you all?
We're well, Rust. How are you?
Excellent. I just wanted to thank you for your help with Professor Terwin. It seems that he sent in a letter of resignation, and he's been missing for a few days, so I got special permission to go investigate his house, and there was evidence he'd been working with the Talons. You're right, Gylndan, definitely a man we don't want teaching the next generation of wizards and witches alike. But he is now gone. I'm not worried about him. He was he could take care of himself. It's just rather unfortunate. A man of his caliber had such a dark background. I didn't even know. Unfortunately, the war is taking a lot of our funding. But I wanted to give you something. Something to thank you for your services. So I dug through a couple of the storage units, and here, take this. And he hands out this small little box, which I will put into the Discord now, if Discord will actually open for me, because it's been trying to open for ages. There we go. I'll put it into the Discord now. let me just open up. This little box. There should be a thing about it somewhere. This trading card. He explains that it is a memory box. It is a... I'll write this up for you after the session, don't worry, but someone just put it in their inventory. It's a small box that twice per day, anyone can... It needs to be attuned to. 1 hour of just having the box in your possession is fine. And once attuned to, you can think of a memory, any memory that's no longer than 1 minute long, and it'll play out in a illusion, in a sort of 3x3 foot cube in front of you from the viewer's perspective. So it'll be like almost like a first person view of if, say, Gylndan was to think back to the time you guys all first met in the Ace and the Spade, way back when. It would be a 1 minute sort of 1 minute view of him walking into the Ace and the Spade and the minute that followed after that. It can be done twice per day. After the day ends, you can, after the sort of day ends, it regains all charges. Handy little thing. I'm not sure whether you would get any use out of it. You might do, you might not. I don't mind if you sell it or anything. I'm not overly attached to it, but an odd little artifact that maybe you could find some use out of. You adventuring types. Anyway, I unfortunately am a little busy. I have to run, but just know that there is always a friend in the capital should you ever return. And Gylndan, obviously, there is always a job for you to return to. We're recently out an illusion professor, so if you ever wish to come back or even give a lecture or anything, that would be you're always welcome.
Thank you, Master. I'm honoured.
It's all right. Anyway, I must be off. Thank you once again, gentlemen, and I'll be seeing you. And Rast walks off into the docks and disappears in the crowd of people walking away. People do sort of stop and stare for a moment, like thinking, like, oh my god, these guys are talking to the Archmage. Like, ooh, they must be pretty important people.
We're not.
Sort of like whispering to each other.
That's another person I should have added to my list. The Archmage, 2 councilmen.
You can buy that sword. You can buy that sword, Mazzy, and if anyone wants to sort of pick back up any loot,
what are you buying,
you can. Mazzy? So that would be.
So I am proficient in, not proficient, is that the right word? Favorite enemy being, Ben, I've completely forgotten the official term. Fiends, that's it. Yeah.
I thought I heard beans.
Fiends. Enemy is fiends.
It's 110 GP, Mazzy, to buy the sword.
Lovely.
So is it a magic sword?
Mazzy, your favorite enemy. It is not. Your favorite enemy is fiends. You also now have a silver short sword, which I will add to your attacks. Which I'll add to your attacks. So silver short sword.
Can I get a silver dagger?
Yeah, you can get a silver dagger.
Yes, please.
Also,
silver dagger. That'd be.
We talked about this, Ben, but like Doc can buy like a set of leather armor and all that sort of jazz.
Yeah.
Add a. To get this.
No.
Why are we going to see this boy?
Because he's a great boy.
Okay. Silver dagger is 52 GP. 1d6 plus strength plus 1. Attack strength proficient, yes.
Something
range 5 feet.
Jazzier than a dagger.
Boom. Pardon?
Lovely. I'll take off my old short swords, by the way.
Is he just firing shots off in the? Is Mazzy just firing shots off in the shop?
Oramis, did you just fire off your pistol?
That was a misfire.
One thing
How
I
much
forgot to
Ben was
mention
there?
about pistols, Oramis, is that if you roll a natural 1, it does misfire, and you have to spend a bonus action to fix it. It was
Fair enough.
52 GP for a
52 GP.
silver
All
dagger.
these guns. What are we going to do with them, lads?
What's that? Sorry.
I've got all these extra guns. What are we going to do with them?
Keep them on the boats?
Sell them and add them.
Yeah.
Sell them and add them to the group pot. I think.
True.
Not return them to their rightful.
We don't know who their rightful owners are.
That'd be quite a nice little investment to start with.
Okay. Alright.
How much do you reckon
Oh,
Hammer
market
would
lot.
pay for, or Hammer would pay for?
Sounds decent.
Ooh.
I've got 3 pistols and an explosive launcher. I've also got an illusionist's wand.
That was just Professor
was-
Terwin's wand
yeah,
that you picked up.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any special things. You can use it as your arcane. Actually, no, you can't because you're a cleric. Your arcane focus has to be a holy symbol. So to you, it's just a wand. You can get rid of that if you want. It's essentially just a fancy stick. You might be able to sell it to a magic shop for like 1 silver piece. That's about it. So if you wanted to sell it, you can add.
These 3 pistols and this launcher.
The 3 pistols you could sell to Hammer for 50 gold each.
Alright.
Actually, is it 50? Actually, is it 50 gold? D&D guns. Firearms of the realms. Let me have a look. See real quick. Just need to see how much they are. Pistol. No, I'm very, very wrong. 100 gold each.
No. Alright, right.
New boating. What?
That's 300 GP in the party fund.
Yeah.
What about this explosive launcher?
The explosive launcher. Are you going to sell it?
300
I
gold.
don't think any of us want it.
Oh no, we could keep the explosive launcher.
Can we
On the
attach
boat.
anything to the boat? Yeah.
You can't
Cannon on
attach
the boat.
anything to the boat, but it would, obviously, in terms of combat for your boat, your options are ram your boat into whatever's attacking you, or if anyone's got any spells or your own arrows or anything. That's your combat efficiency on the ship. So if you want to keep it, you can keep it. If you want to sell it, you want to sell it. It would sell.
Either way.
How
It
much
would
is it
sell
worth?
for 500 gold.
Sell it. That's half of a new boat.
That's not half of a new boat. That's like a sixth.
It's
a
half
new
of the
boat.
current boat I have.
Yeah, it's like a sixth.
I mean,
of
I
the
assume
new
when you're
boat.
getting a new boat, you'd sell the one you've got. So,
Maybe, although I am
or
tempted
we're
to
making
make
an armada.
make an Oramis armada, hire some.
Consisting of a small sailboat and a sloop.
Alright.
Fantastic.
A force to be feared.
This explosive launcher. Sell, yay or nay?
I mean, we've got some.
I think
We've got
we've got to
a
sell
lot of
that.
range, so I think sell it.
Yeah, fine.
Cool. Right, that's going, and that's another 500. Did you say?
Yep. The ammo that goes with it sells for 20 GP a pop. There was 3 grenades with it. If you have them on your inventory, sell them.
I think
If you don't.
I don't have them on the inventory because I think you said Sam's fireball destroyed all the ammo.
Oh yeah, it did. Oh, never mind then.
So I don't have any of the ammunition.
That's a shame.
Whoops.
Effectively, we've just made 650 gold for some nice ornamental.
800.
800 for some nice display pieces.
Doc's
yeah.
like taking them out and like quickly polishing them and passing them off to their friend. He kind of goes in and quick rub off some of the soot.
Selling them to Hammer, he's quite interested in them. He's actually very, very interested in them. He says that like he's heard of this new dwarven technology, but no one has ever been allowed it other than the guards. Only the guards have been allowed this sort of thing. So, you know, for
Maybe you can reverse
you guys,
engineer it right now.
You have our blessing.
Yeah.
for you guys to have them, he clearly thinks something quite big of you. And for you guys to sell them to him, he's like, "Oh, guys."
Can't wait to come back and hear
he's
that
a
he's been
happy
arrested on suspicion of theft.
Fantastic.
Right.
Is there anything else anyone wants to pick up on in the capital before?
Just quickly, Ben.
Standard arrows.
You and I.
Oh, actually, no, I don't. No, I don't. I'm full.
Out of session
I lie.
about Doc getting some leather armor.
Yeah, leather armor.
Okay.
Add that to your inventory and stuff. Yeah.
And that's
I'll stick that on the boat.
getting stored on the Dragon's Revenge for Doc to wear when he's on the water.
Yeah, that's cool.
So,
Ben, is there actually a difference, Ben, between a silver dagger and a normal dagger, apart from just what it can hit? Does it look like it based on online?
So Mazzy will tell you that a lot of fiends, being from hell, they sort of have an innate resistance to regular sort of slashing, piercing, bludgeoning, silvered weapons. Because silver doesn't exist in hell, silvered weapons get around this. Silver is also a known thing for getting around a lot of magical effects and things like that. You've heard people wield, like, there's rumors that, not exactly sure if they're true, but there are rumors of people with like silver shields that help against magic, or silver armor that could do loads against magic. Obviously these are all rumors, but silver weapons are a proven way to get around this magical resistance to blades and weaponry. So if you were to attack a fiend or something,
it's just the same as a normal dagger, but it will work. It won't have that disadvantage against them.
Yeah. Also, add a +1 to the damage of it.
Oh, who made it? This is some fine work.
Tis Hammer. I'm assuming. I don't know.
Yeah. We're loyal shoppers, Ben.
Especially since we didn't buy anything the first time.
We did. We bought his loyalty.
We buy ours.
I don't know. We showed him a dead snake in a box.
Where he comes from, that's just a casual Monday.
Yeah.
That is true. Is there anything else in the capital?
No. I think
Awesome.
What happened there? Mazzy and I bought silvered weapons. Jojo sold a bunch of guns. Jojo also bought some leather armor. Luke, did you buy anything?
Oramis is round for the ride.
I was just there.
Awesome. In that case, then, you head back to the docks after your little day of spending. It's now probably, so if you guys wake up probably quite early, so it's now maybe around 9 or 10 in the morning. Still bright and early. The weather, the sun it's one of those sort of days where the sun's in the sky and it's looking really, really nice, but there's quite a cold chill looming over. You guys would get in the Dragon's Revenge. Oramis probably very excitedly unties the boat to the port. And away you go into the world.
And you hear a crunch.
And it's
Howdy.
and away you go. Away you go into the ocean. Now, a couple of things about the boat. First of all, about the boat is that you can't sleep on it, or at least not all of you can sleep on it. So obviously there is a space in the sort of cabin for someone to like be very, very cramped inside. You would be so uncomfortable you probably wouldn't get the effect of a long rest. The deck itself isn't long enough either for all of you to comfortably lay out your bedrolls and go to sleep. Otherwise you'd be sleeping on hard wood and it's rocking because of the waves and everything. So just as a note, if you wanted to sleep in this boat, you'd have to park it up on shore,
What's the width
go to
of
bed.
the boat?
The width of the boat is not very big. If you sort of think it's like
pathetic.
5.
It says like 10 feet.
About like 10 feet, something like that. Not very.
How
not very
long's the
wide.
journey up to Northgard?
So the journey up to Northgard. Let me take you to the map. Oramis, you reckon by sort of knowing how boats work, you reckon you can get to Kriggan by the end of the day. The next day, you would get to about here. And on the final day, you think at a stretch, you could make it to Northgard.
So 3 days. The end of the
About
third
3
day.
days. About 3 days, yeah. Were you traveling on land, it would probably take around 4 or 5. Because of the distance and the sort of obstacles in the way. More like 4
Suck a dick, Chikara.
on Jakara. But obviously you're travelling on a boat. Should the winds be in your favour?
Only on those lonely days.
Oh, God.
Should the winds be in your favour and should everything go smoothly, you should get there in about 3 days.
Luke, are you going to try and knock off your first water vehicle check? Is that what you're doing?
Sorry?
Are you going to try and knock off your first water vehicle check because it wasn't that good?
Yeah.
I was about to say this would be the regular survival checks. So the DC is obviously lowered because you're on a boat. But then again, there are demons still flying around, as you guys know. Hold on, before everyone does it, let's just do it in a row because otherwise there's just a lot.
Okay. So
go with.
All rolls before don't count.
No, we're still taking yours because you did yours before I said. It's your punishment.
I mean, it was doing one anyway.
It's your punishment. So it's a DC of 13. Yeah, DC of 13. You need 3 passes or 3 fails. We'll start with Oramis with the water vehicles check. You failed one, you've passed another. Roll water vehicles.
Oh, lordy.
This is big. Oh, yeah, good lad.
That was my pen, actually. I need to write this down. I've lost my pen.
Could I make a point of teaching the guys about sailing and how to sail on our journey?
Yeah. So you have Oramis.
I'm just thinking, because if I get a bigger boat, then
You'll need us to be somewhat more useful.
2.
yeah,
You need to be a competent crew hand. Yeah.
I'm just looking through.
Squeezed into one corner while Oramis just runs off and down.
get out of the way.
Yeah. So actually, once you've done your checks, make me a check that we'll get to in a minute just to see how good you are at teaching. But you have your final check to get to, so you've passed 2. You need 1 more pass. Or 2 more fails.
Okay. You need one another.
Yeah, so it's first. It's not best of 3. It's first.
Oh, yeah.
But there
right.
you are. Oramis, you have passed. That is good for you. Also, make me just a straight charisma check to see how good you are at sort of teaching everybody on the ship. This won't make any sort of effect to your survival things now because he's sort of teaching you as you're going along the way. And he rolled a 9, so he's not a very good teacher. But obviously, you can.
I've
not done this before. I've not done it before.
Yeah,
Getting very angry that we're not listening.
You'll be using the boat more than once. Obviously, you can teach him a little more and a little more each time you go, and maybe one day you'll all be proficient in water vehicles. How nice would that be? Next up, we'll go Gylndan. Gylndan, you have 1 fail.
I'd like to say before I roll this, by the way, that I've rolled 6 dice today, and I've rolled 3 1s, a 2, a 4, and a 13.
Get them out early.
Yes, I think exactly.
Yes. So Gylndan, you have 1 fail. Let's go.
Another fail.
2 fails.
All right, it's all gravy from here. Trust me.
Oh, wow.
Gylndan
That's
is
atrocious.
That's so bad.
wow.
As a
over
group,
the side of
you
the boat,
have
violently
yeah.
seasick.
Next up, we'll go with Mazzy. So, Mazzy, roll me a survival check. That's one fail.
The boat's gonna sink.
Roll me another survival check. That's one pass. Again.
And a bit better.
There we go.
Another
A lot
pass.
better.
Fail.
There we go.
Fail.
How'd you get that?
Fail.
I'm actually so gassed to fight Cthulhu. The Kraken, something like that, you know? JJ, you're right, we are going to die. But not just you, all of us.
Oh, dear Lord. Dokrumir,
Better
bring it back around, mate. Come on, bring it back around.
Promise nothing.
I swear to God.
Oh, it's a good
One
start.
fail.
Oh,
One pass.
2
Right.
points, 3 pass. 2
One
burn.
fail.
Hey.
Oh,
3 pass.
it's been a while.
Thank goodness the whole party isn't utterly useless.
Alright, I know how we feel when you're in combat, Oramis.
Man,
Hold on a
throwing
goddamn minute.
shade.
I will kick you off this boat. And you can misty step right back on.
Yes.
I'd love to see that. You pushed him off and this is this poof. And he's behind you.
Have you seen the gif of like Simpsons where I don't know a lot of Simpsons. I don't know the characters' names, but the Mo the bar guy just takes the guy out and then he just appears behind him.
Yeah.
And on that note, you're on the sea, lads.
Life on the ocean waves.
Alright, roll the D4. Who's singing the sea shanties?
There's a ship.
Let's say the name of the ship. It's a bloody FP, the wonder. It's
actually good, I rolled Oramis.
Oh, so that's
More love songs.
Alright, so your first day of travel goes pretty well. So obviously on the first day you're heading to Kriggan, and you're heading mainly the main sort of job is to get out of the sort of cove or the bay of the capital and to get around the chromatic cliffs to Kriggan. They're called the chromatic cliffs because you can see all the different sort of layers of the different rock, and they're all different colors, not obviously bright colors, they're all still like different colors of rock, but it does look very, very beautiful, and it's quite a sight to behold. It's very, very beautiful. Wind coming into the cove makes it sort of hard to get out, and the seas are pretty rough, but you do make it out in the end. And the first day, with only 2 of you, thing goes pretty much as planned. However, could I ask both Gylndan and Mazzy to make me Constitution saving throws?
Good job, Mazzy.
Ben, can you just remind me what leather armor is? Just so
Leather armor is 11 plus dex.
11 plus dex. Cool.
You're not much better.
Yeah.
I might be over the threshold though.
Now, could you both roll me 1d4?
That's a bit better. Oh no,
Mazzy.
that's Gylndan. No,
Mazzy, you are
No.
seasick for
I
1
don't like
day.
it. Oh,
Oh.
Gylndan, you are seasick for the journey. Gylndan is not the seafaring type. He's never really been much on a boat, never been one for seafaring, and because it's such a small boat, the wings are fairly rough, remembering what sort of time of year it is. It's shaken around a lot. Mazzy gets used to it after the first day. You can see by the time you're getting into the Cove of Kriggan that he's sort of finally starting to settle, whereas Gylndan really isn't. Gylndan, can you add 1 point of exhaustion for the entire journey of travel?
Fucking 8 points.
This is why you have an elephant.
Oh, I should have just ringed car up there, enjoyed the scenic route.
Maybe.
Problem is though, if I leave you guys You always end. Well, the one time I've left you so far, you seem to end up in combat, so I can't really leave you again.
Also, imagine if you ended up. Actually, no, you got Chikara, and Chikara's a freaking beast, so you'd be fine.
Imagine getting into sea vampires.
Oh my god.
Ben, I'm guessing I can't. I can't cast divination if I'm vomiting everywhere.
No. I'd still say you can. It's just that you have
okay. I'll do it on the second day.
Ability checks and disadvantage on ability checks and stuff for this time. So yeah, the first day goes pretty much without incident. You make it into Kriggan. Now, you guys probably maybe in your lives have visited Kriggan, but as players you haven't. So a little history on Kriggan. Kriggan was, at the very sort of first creation of Ambyr, it was the first capital. It was originally the capital, but then everyone, when the Wizards College was created over where the capital currently is, and when the Great Library was created over there, everyone was kind of like, should we just move the capital to where the cool things are? Everyone sort of agreed, in a very basic way of putting it. It's a historic city, though. It still houses a lot of sort of ancient buildings and things like that. A lot of museums. This is definitely a place where a lot of ancient items are found, and a lot of things are kept. There's a lot of sort of smuggling and stuff like that in Kriggan, smuggling good items in and out of places, as well as the Great Lighthouse of Kriggan. Now, this is a place. Basically, it's like a big wizard's tower that multiple wizards live in, and they're almost like wizard monks. They sort of live by this code of like, we want to become one with the weave of magic sort of thing. So every day, different wizards from within the tower tend to the great fire of Kriggan, basically the light in the lighthouse. They keep it going, keep it running to protect ships coming into shore. You go into Kriggan, and if I remember the thing, it's called the inn you stay at on the first night. It's called the Flying Flute. Nothing really happens there that evening. If there's anything anyone wants to do in Kriggan,
what
say
gold
now or forever hold your peace. Again, 3 gold for the night and rooms. For the night and dinner and breakfast.
Any markets?
Yeah. Quite a big Kriggan market. The main one is by the shore, so the docks sort of leads into this very, very large open market. Very, very busy on this time of day, and you get there just around sunset. So things are beginning to shut down, but not quite. There are still quite a lot of people there. If you wanted to do anything in the market.
Well, Oramis had some fellow sailors talking about a folding boat that you can. So he's just looking around the market, seeing if he can find out where he could maybe acquire all of those. Obviously, understanding that they're quite a rare thing to come by.
Okay. Roll me an investigation check to look around and see maybe where you could acquire something.
Or maybe talk to some people, see if they know where you could find one, maybe that kind of thing.
12. You
no one knows.
are you're having a bit of a nose around. You're mentioning this folding boat, and most people have no idea. A couple of people sort of laugh you in the face, like a floating boat. What the hell are you on? Like, are you even a sailor? You know, like that would never work. So maybe one man has an inkling of where one might be. He's heard some people up and around the Shattered Coast have heard something of a not necessarily a folding boat, but a boat that can change its shape and size at a whim. This man runs a small sort of marketplace. He's seen by others as a bit of a kook. He just like sells. He just like a fisherman, so he just sells like fish, like haddock and cod and stuff from his stall. But when you mention it to him, you're like, I heard up by the Shattered Coast, that kind of thing. People talking about that stuff. So there you go. That could be something of interest for you to have a look at, something to maybe acquire,
Awesome.
that kind of thing. Is there anything else anyone would like to do in Kriggan? Or
I'll cast divination now, actually, because it makes more sense to do it here. It's more slightly more comfy. Also, we're not going to city on our next stop. I don't think so.
No,
Gylndan, like expressed his desire to. Oh, I guess you told us you need like a place to like meditate. If he's told
Yeah,
us,
and burn a
like,
bunch of incense.
if he's told us like a little bit about what he's trying to achieve, or
No.
no, not really. Okay.
Well, it's just a vision of the future.
Okay.
But I can only go a certain period of time into the future. So I would tell you that I'm trying to find out what the solution may be on our journey up north.
Okay,
but
well, if he's told us that, I'm going to cast guidance on him because it sounds quite important.
Is guidance for
Matt is so happy that
saves?
JJ's casting guidance.
Is guidance for saves or is guidance for checks?
For ability check,
And I-
choice.
Sam, did I say it was a check or a save? I'm pretty sure.
So
I
you said it was a check, but then if you read that, I don't think there's any sort of check.
Magic and an offering.
Expert. Beginning of save log. That's not the one. Divination. No. Did I put it into your thing? I didn't.
You
type
messaged it to me, but it's not in that spell.
did.
So
It's not in that spell. I did message it
So
to you though. Let me just really quickly check because I meant to put it in. I'm very sorry I didn't.
that's all right.
Fuck off. Okay, so
Who scored, Matt?
Mount.
Nice.
Really good first touch. He spins around the defender.
we were saying. How you doing? What's he gonna? Sorry, but just 1 second. This
While Ben is looking that up, what do we call the second bow? Eventually get one.
It is a save. It is a save, a wisdom save
From Gylndan.
Okay.
Gylndan.
by Gylndan.
Could I change? Would you allow me to change that to bless then?
I'll allow it because in reality you're sort of you might begin to do something and Gylndan would tell you because this is Gylndan's like no, this isn't me trying to do something, this is me trying to it's me trying to do something in a different way, aka in non-gaming terms saying this isn't me trying to make a check, this is me trying to make a save.
Yeah.
Is a DC 13
I'm
wisdom
not trying to
save.
grant him extra power, I'm trying to grant him extra resistance.
Yeah, exactly. So Gylndan, a DC 13 wisdom save.
Plus a d4 from bless.
Oh, the D4 is important.
The D4 is slightly important, yes. For those of you
No!
Ah.
That's my fourth one of the day.
Oh my god, that's so bad. For those of you watching at home or wondering why Gylndan's making a save for a spell, well, hey, ain't gonna tell you.
We don't know either.
Exactly.
Except Gylndan.
Gylndan, you try and access this power, you try and sort of reach out to this divination, this sort of divine sense that you have for the future, and you achieve nothing. You can
I was
cast
close.
the spell.
I was very
We're
close.
You can cast the spell tomorrow. If you fail on divination one day, you can't then cast it again. You've got to wait till the
I've
next day.
already got one level 4 spell slot anyway. So.
It doesn't use up a spell slot when you do it this way.
What? Okay.
Uh,
So what I put in the chat is, although divination is not at all what you've given me,
yeah. Do
do you want me to use it up the incense?
Yes, you would use up the incense in attempting to do it as well.
Okay, cool.
Anything else anyone wants to do in and around Kriggan? Or
Not particularly.
we can skip to the next day?
Time with Gylndan is he's trying to help him divine the future.
Cool.
You're just staring at me while I'm not doing anything.
Did you see it?
It really doesn't help if you talk to me.
I can't do it when you're watching. And
That
on that
time?
note, On that note, yep, nap time, and you wake up the next day. The next day you wake up and the weather has taken just a little bit of a bad turn. It's very, very overcast, and it's very windy as well. So you might assume today's Oramis definitely knows that today's travel might be a little bit rough, or more rough than usual. Were you going to re-roll those, Sam, or were you good?
Well, that's the irony of me using a divination roll for a divination spell. I've foreseen that I will foresee this. Yeah, they're good, Ben. I'll take this.
Cool. So you.
Before we head off, can I go back to the market and see if there's any herbal remedies for seasickness?
Herbal remedies for seasickness. As far as you know, there aren't many herbal remedies. There's stuff that can ease some of the symptoms, but generally seasickness is just a sort of thing of, I mean, you can't really ease the rocking of the boat. You can't really ease Gylndan's unease of being out at sea.
That's fine. In that case,
no one's selling those little wristbands that press on your wrist.
I've never heard of anything that can sort of dull down seasickness.
In that case, it's his own fault for being weak.
That is fair. Thanks. Can I have another crack at this divination reading before we go?
Yes, you can. You can have another crack.
I'll pass it.
You pass it. All right. The most anticlimactic thing ever. All right. What do you ask? What do you want to see?
The future.
The future. I think it's up to a week, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess what awaits us in Northgard?
An army.
Fantastic.
I'm joking, but for future reference, I can do that. It's part of the spell description. No, what awaits you in Northgard? In Northgard, what awaits you? So you sit down and you think on this. This sentence. What awaits us in Northgard? And in your mind, you begin to have this vision. In the vision, you are a bird. Not sure quite what type, but you're a bird and you're flying over a forest. And as you come out of the sort of the tree line, come over the tree line, you can see this very large city, Northgard, as you remember. Northgard is a city that resides on top of a cliff just by the coastline, and if you remember correctly, it has the Cathedral of Pelor there. The Cathedral of Pelor is this huge, towering building with a massive spire. It is the tallest building in all of Ambyr, with the spire on top, except what you can see there now is, you can see the spire perfectly fine, but above the clouds, especially now with the sort of overcast weather, you can see this green glow coming from the top of the clouds. The walls are much more fortified than you ever remember them being when you visited there last, and standing upon the walls are goblins, hobgoblins, and orcs, all sort of different kinds, all standing there preparing to sort of brace for attack against an army of man that is laying siege to the city. Within the city itself, the bird sort of begins to fly and pass over, and within the city you see men, women, and children all being put to work, whipped by orcs, tortured and hurt by goblinoids, and being put to work deconstructing the city and turning it into a fortress, taking apart homes and houses and using these materials and resources to build up defenses for the wall. They are turning a city into, like I said, a fortress. And it's clearly not going very well for them at all. That's pretty much it. I don't really think there's anything else that you can
Very good.
see as of now. You can see there are thousands of orcish soldiers, as well as you can see behind Northgard. So if you think just north of Northgard, there are several camps that are sort of dotted about each with this sort of green light coming from this green sort of flame coming from all of them, and several sort of caravans leading from these camps into the north, almost like a supply sort of train of things, being made, or troops being sort of taken from up north, and then they move from camp to camp all the way back down into Northgard, where they'll be used to then defend against the thing of man, to try against the army of man, to try and keep it, to keep their foothold in the south.
Okay.
That is pretty much what you see in your vision.
Awesome.
The bird sweeps around the place once again. You get a fairly good sight of the thing, so when you go there, you'll have a somewhat decent idea of the city and maybe some of their sort of defenses inside. You don't know. And then your vision fades to black once more. You open your eyes, and you can relay that to whoever.
Well, I'll relay it once we're on the boat, I think. I'm assuming I'm there in private, unless Doc's crept in.
Wouldn't surprise me.
just sat there right next to him. What can you see? What can you see? What can you see?
He opens his eyes and Doc is like right here.
You look like you had a... Did you have one vision? You look like you had a vision.
What did you see? Was I there?
Are we setting off, boys? No.
That's-
None of us look good. We were all bleeding a lot. Sorry, wrong
classic.
vision.
Wrong.
Are you setting off once more?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. You set off. It is about 9 in the morning, and you're thinking that with the quite strong winds, there is a decent chance you can make quite a bit of headway today. However, as the day goes by, the time sort of goes past 9 o'clock, goes past 10 o'clock, 11, and when it gets to about 12, just in the distance, you can see dark clouds beginning to form over the horizon. And within the hour, a storm has enveloped you all. Where is it? Pa, 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 pa.
That's a stormy picture.
That is a stormy picture, painted by a man who I can't read what that says, but it's a very nice picture. The storm, unfortunately, pushes the Dragon's Revenge closer and closer to the coast. Now, you're travelling up the coast anyway, but this is pushing the Dragon's Revenge fairly dangerously close. And as you sort of head further and further onwards, Oramis is finding it quite difficult to keep it sort of at bay. And you're heading for rocks. Oramis, make me a water vehicles check. But before you do, if anyone thinks of any way they can help Oramis out right now, any skill or spell, now would be a very good time.
I will cast guidance on him.
Cool.
How close are we
Water
to the
vehicles.
coast, Ben? Are we
You
like, is
are a
he
few
struggling to keep us away from like rocks and stuff, or?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll sit in the middle of the boat with my staff. If we get too close to something, then I'll use one of my pushes to keep us away from it.
Okay. Yeah,
That's a good one.
that's fair. I'll tell you what. With that, I'll reduce the DC a little bit as well. Yeah. I think with that, I'll probably reduce the DC because I want to make you roll to hit for every rock that you would come across.
Smash this rock.
So Oramis, roll a water vehicles check.
Add a d4.
Add a d4. 10. Oramis, this storm is particularly tough on you and your crewmates. You are trying so hard to keep the sort of heel of the boat at bay. You unfurl the sails, the half mast. You're doing absolutely everything right, everything a sailor can do in that position. But unfortunately, it's not quite enough. And you try and sort of weave the boat between these two rocks, but unfortunately, a wave slams into the side of the boat, pushing you straight into the rock at the side. I need to roll some stuff. 8 plus 3 is 11, plus 3 is 14, plus that. Oramis, can you take 18 damage from the boat?
Humble
So
spread. What's the boat's health?
75. But now it's something else. Because you've taken some damage before this. Yeah, 18 off.
How does he heal damage on a boat?
I guess you've got to get it repaired.
Yeah, you can pay to have it repaired. Or if anyone knows the mending cantrip, you can repair little bits of it that way.
Do you remember when in our other game we had a cleric who had mending, and he literally walked around for about 30 sessions in clothes that were ripped, and Martin was like, you could have used mending to fix your clothes, right?
What is the boat on now? What health is the boat on now?
57.
57 at the minute. Alright.
What about...
I can't remember the damage it took before, and it's not there.
That's fair enough. So, you have...
Oh no, didn't we decide it didn't take any damage because we were all on the wrecked boat?
You're on the wrecked boat, not the other boat, so it didn't take any damage. That's well remembered.
That's right, yeah.
You are really struggling now to keep the boat at bay. You are crashing side to side into these almost like teeth that rise up from the boat, and the further you get into this maze of rocks, the more wreckage of other ships that you can see in and around the area. Destroyed hulls and masts of ships stick out like spikes, threatening to collapse your ship at any minute. And suddenly, a larger wave approaches. It slaps onto the side of the boat, and can everyone make me a dexterity saving throw to try and stay on?
Oh my...
Oh, who's drowning? Me. Oh, maybe not.
Oh, you're fine. You got the grip.
Now, disadvantage on ability checks, so you don't have disadvantage on this. Mazzy, you managed to hold on. You managed to stay on just about.
I'll replace that. I'll replace that with a 13, Ben.
Replace it with a 13 plus your dexterity modifier.
15.
That's 15. You stay on. Dokrumir, unfortunately,
even with the leather armor.
Well, the change of armor doesn't do anything to my dex.
No, but
it helps when you're in the water.
Yeah.
Does help when you're in the water. However, as you are thrown off the boat, can you now make me an athletics check to try and stay above the water as the water pushes you round and round and round into rocks, into wreckage, and all sorts of stuff.
Oh, boy.
Oh, 21. You only take 3 damage.
Boy.
3 bludgeoning damage from being knocked up against stuff. You are able to sort of brace yourself against it. You're able to keep your head above the water. You also don't need to make a con save to stop yourself from drowning. And you can, with that athletics as well, with a 21, I'll say you are able to grab onto the side of the boat, and with the help of your friends, you're able to pull yourself back on just about fine.
Did Abby just start watching?
You are sort of the boat is thrown about for a little while before eventually getting to almost the middle of the rocks, where things begin to calm down. The winds definitely haven't calmed down, but at the very least, the rocks now break many of the waves, so you have a brief moment of respite. And with this brief moment of respite, can everyone just make me a quick perception check? Yeah, Doc's probably very cold. Glyndon, you make this with disadvantage because you are.
Oh, Ben, that's my first good roll of the day.
No, it's not.
Did I?
Such a dick.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's fine.
Oh, exhausted is
Oramis and Mazzy.
Mechanic.
Oramis and Mazzy, you are the first to notice that in the wreckage around you, something moves. Things begin to move through the wreckage. Things that, as the waves pass over them, they're immovable, but they move almost on their own. Figures, if you will. And before long, you begin to realize that these figures are moving. One of them moving along a set of rocks towards your ship. The figures
No.
then make themselves known to you, of which I will now reveal them.
Hi,
because
my
they'll
name is
be
Jeff.
mermaids. The first one behind you on the wreck of a quite large, what was a quite large merchant vessel. Another there as well.
Are these mermaids, Ben?
These are not mermaids. These are
good.
very, very much far from mermaids.
They look nothing like the stories the sailors used to tell me.
They look very fishy.
As they come into view,
Are these Sahagin?
these are not, and it's Sahagwin. I always thought it was not Sahagin.
Sahagin?
Sahagwin or whatever. No, these are not them. Someone can make me an with Mazzy, Oramis, and Doc. You guys can make me intelligence checks as you've seen them in time to be able to maybe identify them before they do whatever they're going to do.
Right.
That's not great.
If you were going to make one Oramis, that's fine. If not, we can sort of go off what we have there.
Oh,
It's fine. We're going off what we have there. Mazzy, you have heard stories of
Stories.
people, water people, not sea elves, which are fairly common in certain parts of Ambyr, not merfolk. You've heard stories of people going into the water and turning into something. You're not quite sure. They were old wives' tales for you when you were a child, maybe, or maybe when you were a soldier, sort of doing some work near the coast. You heard people talking. You heard people maybe talking about them. They were called sea spawn. Terrifying creatures of the sea who've been dragged under and their lives have been spared by a greater entity, now turned to terrifying monstrosities. And these monstrosities, from their different bits of wreckage, stare at you. Each of them have a sort of different anatomy. They're all humanoid, but some have coral as almost like an armor, like a naturally occurring armor growing over their body. Some have lobster claws for hands, others tentacles for an arm. Terrifying, like probably would look absolutely terrifying to you guys, and they scream and shout from where they are at. One of them with a sling in his hands, loading a pebble and swinging it around his head. Can everyone roll initiative?
Lads. Slings do not do a lot of damage.
The man knows from experience.
Oh, good.
Right.
Can I roll above a 15?
Sam, I'm so sorry. This has not been
That's
your
nothing
day,
to
my dude.
apologise
Ben was
for.
messing with the code trying to nerf Mazzy and he accidentally put Gylndan in.
I didn't need nerfing.
We haven't
I've run out of
attacked yet,
divination
Sam.
rolls as well.
It can all change.
It can all change. See, this is, you must understand now, this is why I have attacks that don't need you to roll, because I'm not going to hit any of them.
I need to look up the sea spawn at my monster stats. Monster stats. Everybody loves monster stats. Everybody loves monster stats.
Are we stationary or are we moving then?
You guys are currently stationary. The boat has come to a almost natural stop as you're
I'll
sort
put
of
the sails down.
wading. Yeah, as you're sort of wading
Okay.
through stuff,
Right.
and as you sort of put the sails down through the storm. Because obviously, if you put your sails up during a storm, you're going to get absolutely destroyed.
Nice.
So here we are. Oramis, it is your turn. You can see these creatures screaming in a language none of you understand. There's a lot of sort of, I was about to say a lot of throat action, but no, that's horrifying. It is almost incomprehensible. It's like a lot of, if you sort of think of that kind of thing, like someone's got way too much saliva in their mouth. They're screaming, they're shouting. One of them is sort of readying a sling to be a thing.
Which one's got the sling? Does it matter?
The one who has the sling is the one closest to you guys, just here upon this rock.
So that's furthest away, but yeah.
So,
Okay. Could I, as a bonus action, cast Hexblade's Curse?
Yeah, Yeah.
Against that one there.
Yeah.
So I get the castle. Then can I use? Where am I going?
Oh, bang, bang.
Oh, bang! Absolutely. Yeah, definitely hits. Roll damage.
Is that a crit?
What did you roll?
No, you've got
You rolled. Yeah, you rolled.
So
you
is it
rolled a
only?
15. So...
Oh, okay, so it's a 19 or 20 without your bonus.
Yeah. That's the
okay.
base
Fine,
roll.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same way if you roll like a 16 plus 4, that's not a crit.
3.
You gain bonus to damage rolls against cursed target. Proficiency. bonus.
You do of your
Equals
your
to-
proficiency. You get a bonus to damage rolls against proficiency bonus, which is 3, so that's actually 6. Good shot, and well remembered. Yeah, you fire off this. I think you said it was like this blue and purple sort of energy
Yeah, blue
from your
purple
hands,
energy.
lights up the rocks and the reef around you, which has now become quite dark as the skies and clouds have only gotten thicker all around you. Thunder sort of claps in the distance, and just afterwards your eldritch blast goes off, blasting into this thing's shoulder, like cracking some of the coral like off of its chest. It stumbles briefly, but manages to stay sort of on the rock as another wave crashes over the ship.
Oh my god.
And he's rolling again with a 25. Damn, sir. 4 plus 3 is 7.
Luke, can I have some of your roll, please?
Let him keep it. Borrow Mazzarious.
Mazzy,
I haven't rolled
Okay.
yet, so I mean, I
I'll
could
pay
be rolling
good money. I'll pay good money.
The sea spawn is still up. The second blast sort of bashes it in
My
the
bank
stomach.
account
It
details
falls to its sort of hands and feet, but it does just about sort of crawl its way back to its feet. You can see this one sort of has a lobster like a lobster claw for a hand. Half its face is covered in all this coral stuff. It's horrifying. Anything on your turn, Oramis? Any movement, or are you good?
No, that is good.
Cool. Mazzy, you're up.
I am going to put 2 spike growths out in my two rounds.
The ocean.
One on this guy. Oh, it's on the boat.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
These
Well,
are
in this
some very interesting decisions.
One on this guy. So if they start to move, do they get attacked when I put it down, and then again if they move, or is it just when they move?
No, it's only if they move. Also, so I'm going to read through spike growth because so the ground in a 20-foot radius centered on a point within range twists and sprouts hard spikes and thorns. The area becomes difficult terrain for duration when a creature moves. Okay, so it's 20-foot radius. You can only put one of them out though, so you can't put it out on 2 separate places.
No, but I've got 2 like my second attack.
That's a second melee attack, not a second spell. Casting a
Okay.
spell and doing an attack are 2 different things.
Right, fine. So if I put the spell out, can I still attack as a second? Attack,
No,
is it?
because
Okay,
so
fine.
your attack so in your attack action, you can now make 2 attacks, whereas your spell action you can only cast 1 spell.
It's just 1 and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Matt, I'm going to say confidently that you're the only person in the history of D&D that thought, if I have a double use of spells, I'll put 2 spike growth down.
Where were you putting them again?
Well-
Which one were you putting the spike growth on?
If I've only got 1, I'll put it on this guy
I'll just
because it's every 5 foot of movement. So technically, he should move twice in there.
Yeah, in theory.
And
So
also,
if I just put spike growth out.
I didn't actually think about it, but if it's over the water, would it not be effective at all? Would it be non-existent, or would it still be like?
On
No
the
spikes in the
water,
water?
it would have spikes on the ground beneath the water.
Yeah,
I would
so, yeah, it'd
actually
be
no. If
something
you're
over
casting
top
it
of it.
on the ship, actually,
Yeah.
if you're casting it on the ship itself, on the wood of the ship, it probably wouldn't have any sort of effect on anything other than the wood of the
Okay.
ship. So,
Okay, well-
But yeah,
This
you
is
have
bizarre
done
to imagine.
spike growth.
I just
So yeah,
I'd
you
try
guys
it.
watch Mazzy sort of raises out his hand, and these spikes begin to grow from the wood of the destroyed boat, like these.
I don't have a lot of experience on water. I'm just sort of winging it.
These wooden splinters begin to just sort of edge out of the wood. Sort of, you can hear the boat waning and cracking as its sort of anatomy is beginning to move.
Does Matt need the clock on him?
Oh
Yes, Matt does need the
I will
Matt does
put a
need
clock on
the
me.
clock on him. Anything else on your turn, Mazzy? Bonus actions or movement?
I don't think I can have anything that's actually decent with my bonus action, so no.
Cool. We will move to the sea spawn. This sea spawn here will make an attack against Doc because he's the closest thing to him that he thinks he can get an attack on, because those things aren't very good. So that definitely misses. You just see this pebble like bash against the side of the sort of knock against the side of the boat and dribble sort of into the water, and he's going to move 5, 10, leap into the water, and you don't know where he's gone. This guy leaps into the water, 5, 10. Actually, again, you don't know where he's gone. This guy tries to do the same, however, he will take that from there and that from there, so that's actually 4d4. Matt, can you roll 4d4 for me, please?
Make it big, Matt.
I think that's right.
That's not big.
Not what I wanted.
That's not big, that's 7 damage.
That's very sad.
Yeah, 7 damage. You can see this thing just sort of like it's almost like trying to tiptoe over this stuff. It's hurting and making it bleed, but not quite as much as you would hope it would, and it just leaps off into the water, diving in, and has disappeared.
Does it leave a blood trail in the water?
I would say it probably leaves. I'd say it might. You know what? Yeah, I'll give you if you
Would it be that visible,
you
though?
use sort of an advantage. Probably not, but
If it swam down, I don't think it would be visible.
yeah. Also, it is a storm, so you got to think like all the water's
Unbelievably
still sort of
choppy.
moving, and there's rain sort of
Fair enough.
coming down on
if
things.
you roll a, what's your modifier on your perception, Matt?
Have a look.
If you roll a 25, you can see it.
This final guy up here.
I got +2. So
Oh no, then you can't roll a 25. Never mind.
This final guy up here appears to have almost like 3 or 4 long tentacles for arms for its right arm, and it appears to point these tentacles in the water. It screams something absolutely absurd, and then will also dive into the water, and it points to somewhere around here, and then it
Didn't see
dives
that.
into the water. Points to somewhere around here to the left of the boat,
Okay.
and will remain there. And will dive off the boat in this quite heroic fashion, jump into the ocean.
and they're gone forever.
I was weren't
Are
that
they?
intimidating until they've now disappeared and we can't see them.
Doc, you are up. He's thinking about it. He's thinking about it.
It's not worth it.
Ah, okay, then time for them to bring out the level 4 spell. I've got bless on everyone, but myself.
What does Bless do? It's a bonus to attack rolls.
It is a plus 1d4 to attack roll, saving, or saving throw before the spell ends.
Attack
Whenever a
rolls,
target makes an
saving
attack roll
throw.
or a saving throw, it's concentration for a minute. So
Awesome.
I will
Stick a little clock on yourself.
clock myself.
I'm liking this clock thing. I'm liking it.
Clocked himself in there.
Right. And if that's everything, Gylndan, you are up. Whatever's in the water is gone. You can try and make a perception check to see them, but otherwise...
That's not my action, is it?
There's no position on the boat where I'm like...
That would be a bonus action.
If I step to the other side,
Bonus action.
equally as like close to the edge.
Yeah.
So I'll just stay where I am.
It's above a 10.
It's above a 10. You think you see one, you can see something moving, some like sort of disturbed water near dock. Near and around where dock is in the water. Near and around where, sort of dock in the water, you think you can see maybe something move under the water there. And maybe something behind Oramis, but you're not quite sure.
I'm going to prep a level 2 magic missile, and if anything pops up, I'm just going to zap it.
Alright. Awesome. Now for the next thing's turn. And that's going to move.
The next thing I don't like the sound of.
20.
Well, it rolled an awful initiative. Unless the guy's just summoned something that's got a really high initiative.
No, it rolled very, very badly. Yeah, he's probably he has been commanded, so I guess he will come out now.
Oh dear.
You watch it. So in the last round, everyone has sort of jumped into the water. Doc has casted Bless, which sheds a dim sort of light over the ship, and Gylndan is looking around, holding his staff, preparing to cast a spell. And suddenly you hear something in the water behind you, and almost all at once, this thing leaps up and is going to make an attack on Gylndan.
Oh, do I get my reaction?
Why is there a shark?
Blasting him.
You do get your thing of blasting him, so it's appeared above the water, so you can blast it first.
Can I do this first, see if I kill it, which is absolutely not going to happen.
Go for it. Level 2 magic missile.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. 11.
5, 8, 11.
No, don't tell me what I've rolled. I can see it.
You
That's going to make an attack against you.
Can we just call it off tonight and just start again tomorrow? Is that okay?
It's because we're
the
not,
change
we're
of day.
normally playing on the first.
It's putting him off.
Yeah.
We're meant to be playing Siege right now. Also,
That's what I'm doing badly.
Also, yeah, Gylndan, that hits.
It's me?
Yes.
Okay.
You gonna take it?
Yeah.
Can you also make me a strength saving throw?
Well, I've failed this, so I don't see what the point is, really.
get a plus 1d4 to your saving throw.
Oh, yeah, I'm adding that. Yes!
Whoa! Yeah, how you spend it?
You didn't need it, but it's good you had it. The thing attacks you and will deal a bit of damage, but you manage to push it off your arm. So it deals... Could you take 8 damage off, please? 8 piercing damage from a shark's bite.
So I'd like to picture that it just grabbed onto my arm, this however much sharks weigh, massive shark, and it's just sort of flopping off at the end of my arm, but it's huge. I'm trying to shake it off.
Well, I sort of imagine it like it sort of jumped up and bitten you, but it's not really like, it's more of like a slashing bite in that it didn't really get a firm grip on. You were able to, you were able to sort of, you were able to sort of move out of the way just quick enough and sort of push it away as well before it could get a secure grip on your arm. It still sort of slashes at your arm a little bit, but it doesn't manage to grab you and drag you into the watery depths. Oh, going with those words. And it's gonna move away a little bit.
Good, because it's going to get burnt to shit.
Alright, we'll go back to the top of the round with Oramis. You think
How deep
there's
is this
something...
water?
How deep's the water? You probably would think, so you're a couple of 100 meters away from the shore. Quite deep.
Is it like 15 foot deep?
No, no.
Much deeper than 15 foot.
Oh, okay.
Also,
So
a
there's-
gentle
what
reminder
you're
that your
saying
ship is part of that 15 feet.
Yeah, but what you're saying is there's not much point in using Thunder Wave under the water
I'm not saying
because I won't
I'm
hear
not saying
anything.
I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that Gylndan maybe spotted something behind you somewhere, and maybe spotted something near Dokrumir.
I kind of want to do it.
I think
Equally,
you got nothing to lose.
I'm gonna
It's
cast
certainly
my
not
one
better than what I
spell.
thought your initial plan was, which was jump off the boat.
Yeah.
How deep is it? Can I stand?
Could I use Thunder Wave? Apparent DC 0 save.
What the
That's
fuck?
probably accurate.
Why is it doing that now? Is it not recognized that it hasn't it's not recognizing that you're a person, that you're a warlock? It's not. It's doing this badly.
There is a
You can
I've
Yeah, I've clicked it on his character sheet. It's just it did this with my character Reed as well when I was doing it sometimes.
Well, we know it's
multi-classing it.
DC, don't we?
Yeah, it's DC 15. Mark up those squares there down. Where? There.
Yeah, there.
There.
So yeah, like underneath the water. So I'm like guessing from the surface down.
You're lucky you moved it. Oh, and it fails the save. So I guess it takes the 9 thunder damage. This is the one that's already taken a bit of damage from the spike growth as well. And it gets pushed 10 feet back underwater. So it was
Just pushed it deeper.
So it was 5 feet under the water. You've now pushed it to 15 feet under the water, as well as just pushing water around, probably making like a quite a big ripple sort of in and around the water. The loud boom masked by the water as well. So you can just hear this, and this ripple just appears out from the water.
So it's just a massive.
Just did a massive shit.
Making subtext test.
Also, isn't it a fart? You don't.
I was going to say fart, yeah.
You don't do that if you're doing shit then. Or I don't know what kind of shits you're doing. But
Explosive.
yeah.
It is your turn. You can hold an action if you would like to.
Yeah,
Mazzy, have you ever heard of shooting in a barrel?
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing I can aim at, so I was like, there's no point. But when I say like I'm getting out my bow, that counts as readying my action. But is that a bonus action to ready?
No, that would be your action. So you would be readying your action to not take now on your turn, to take whenever the thing occurs.
Well, I will do that.
What are the conditions of your readied action, though? So what were you...
No, I'm debating. I don't know, sword or bow. Because so far, whenever they show up, they seem to be sword range, really. Would I be able to then move with my held action, or is it only from my spot?
No, you can. So you can move now, held action
but
later.
not. Okay, I'll get the bow out then, because it could come out on the other side of the boat.
Okay.
So, readying an arrow.
Readying an arrow for what? What are the conditions of the held action? I'm guessing for just something to come out of the water. Or...
Something to come out of the water. I'll fire it. Whatever comes out of the water. Would I, again, another question, sorry, I've got loads of questions. Would I be able to put Hunter's Mark on?
That's a bonus action, so
no, it'd have to be just the one shot.
Yeah, it would have to be...
the 2 shots, but no Hunter Mark.
I will just say, though, which side of the boat are you aiming at?
My side, because
your side. Okay.
I'm already on that side, so it makes sense.
Okay. Alright, held action, ready to go, remember that. It's now the sea slide's turn. So... that one's going to be really annoying. This one will appear here, right behind Doc. This one.
I mean, that's right in front of Doc. He's definitely not looking in the middle of the boat.
Oh yeah.
Into the middle of the boat.
Well, that's not really interesting.
This one will appear here, and this one will appear here.
Oh, this is lovely.
So this one has still 10 feet of movement left, so he's going to move 5, 10. This one here is just sort of up on the side of the boat. You can see he has a load of like tentacles for arms, similar to a couple of them. So both of them are going to make an attack against Dokrumir, not with advantage because they're not flanking. That's a 14 plus 5, which is 19.
That hits.
That hits.
Even without the low armor.
You're absolutely correct, sir. Can you make me a strength saving throw, please?
Under the sea.
Oh,
Not
nice.
under the sea.
Take it from me.
It also rolled absolutely shit on damage. Can you take 2 damage, please?
Oh.
Ha.
As these tentacles try and wrap around you, one maybe like slaps you a little bit in the face, but otherwise you're absolutely fine.
Thank you.
Damn, Doc. And the one on the boat is going to attack you. 12 plus 5, 17. Do you have your shield out? That hits.
That hits even. I've got 16.
Awesome. This one has just sort of like long claws. You can see like this one's more just made up of a lot of coral and seaweed and shells and things attached to it. You can see like a starfish on its chest and stuff like that. So it's just going to make a basic little attack. Where's my D8 gone? Mean. That's rolled much better. Can you take 10 points of damage, please? As this
Oh,
one
mama.
very, very clearly slaps you right across the face.
Not dead, but I'm not right.
Mazzy, your held action can go off
Yeah, you also got
on
blast
this
by the
one.
way as well.
Oh my god.
Mazzy, your held action.
Oh, that's
Your
where I
held
put my
action can
dice
go
rolls.
off against. Your held action can go off against this one, so roll to hit on this guy down
I
here.
was going to possibly say the other guy, but that's fine. I'll go with this guy then.
Or you can go for the other guy.
Let's go for
It's up to you.
that one, if that's alright.
Yeah.
Because then it makes it sort of 2 people on. I don't know. I'll go for that guy at the top.
Roll to hit with the bow.
Yeah, back to my bow, my long bow.
14. What's their AC? Hits. Roll damage. 4
No.
piercing.
Oh damn! Do
Your
I get
arrows-
my other attack or not?
It's a held action.
I don't know if you do, Ben.
I
can't
don't know if you
remember.
do either.
I can't remember. I haven't read that rule for a long time.
I didn't think I did, so I'm happy to say no.
I mean, it would
We'll
make
say
sense.
we'll say no for now, but I will check it for next session because that's a really good point. Because it does make sense because it's a held action, and your action is the attack action, and as your
Yeah.
attack action, you get 2
That's
attacks.
true.
Well, it
So-
makes sense so that you're reacting to the thing you see, because it's kind of like you're waiting and it's like, oh shit, there it is, bang.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
I've
We'll
just
stick
read
with the
a
one for now,
creature
but I will
cannot
look it
make
up.
one more than one attack as part of a ready attack. It can use multi-attack on it only on its own turn.
Boom. There we
But
go.
double check it yourself, Ben. But
No, I trust your judgment. We'll rule it with that then. Good job, Mazzy. You hit the thing, dealt a little bit of damage. You fire your sort of bow off. It stumbles back on the sort of on the deck of the ship, almost like having to sit down on these thin sort of seats that line the side of the ship. But it is still up. Now these ones are going to have a go at Oramis just down here real quick. We'll try and get this over and done with. That one.
I'm
What's your AC,
insult
Oramis?
his shoes or something.
14.
That one definitely hits. Other one also hits. The first one, this one here, I believe I said had like this lobster claw. So let me just go with that. 1d8 plus 2. That's terrible. Can you take 4 damage from this guy here? And the other one rolls with advantage because he's flanking. That definitely hits. This one here has tentacles? Yeah, yes, tentacles. So can you make me a strength saving throw, please? Oh my god, these tentacle dudes, can you also take 2 damage from Mr. Tentacle Man here? This one's got a claw, this one's got some tentacles. Your Thunder Wave thing can go away. That'll be their turn. Now it will be Doc.
Alright, I'm gonna go for the one sort of half on the bow. And
Half on the
try
bow.
and,
Nice.
like,
Hammer that shit.
Go for it.
Oh, skadoosh.
That's the 3rd nat 20 you've rolled for shit.
That's 3 crits in a row.
That is 3 crits in a row.
That's gotta be
insane.
That's got to be insta kill.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
One-handed with the shield.
One-handed, 6 plus 6 is 12.
Oh, okay.
12 plus. So, yeah. How do you kill the sea spawn, my dude?
It's like climb up. It's gone for the back of me, and I just like turn around and roll the hammer down, and just this thing just like it's like it's doing like the pencil size into the water, just straight down.
Oh, yeah. Bonk, straight on the head. This thing sort of falls, pencil dives back sort of into the water, and with the sort of waves and stuff moving it around, its body just slowly sort of wades back up. And it's just sort of
As Doc does that,
thing
can
in there.
Mazzy, Oramis, and I all just hold up scorecards?
I'm just
9.5.
deleting me's gone into the water. That is this thing gone. You have 1.
Was
left.
he the one that I had my Hexblade curse
Is, yes.
on? How much health do I regain from that? What was
You regain your warlock level plus your proficiency,
So,
which is
charisma modifier?
charisma modifier.
Warlock
So that's
plus
5.
So that damage that they just did to me has mostly been wiped out.
Awesome. Isn't that
I
nice?
heal even when I attack.
Anything else on your turn, Doc?
Nope. That'll be all, thank you.
Are you sure you don't want to come and
Awesome.
stand within 5 feet of one of these guys?
No, I really want to take it. Opportunity, if I'm honest.
Oh, that's
Glyndane,
that's it.
Hello.
it is your turn. 3 sea spawn are upon the ship.
Yeah,
Ready
so
to
for
attack.
comedic value, I would absolutely adore knocking one of these boys off the side of the boat with my push. However, what I've rolled today, it's just not even worth considering that.
Yeah, but there's also comedic value in that, so.
Yeah, for you guys, the fun stops for me there. And as I've learned from these gambling adverts, when the fun stops, stop. There's also a shark to contend with as well.
Well, that
Oh,
could have
course,
just
got
been,
that.
that's a wild animal.
Can I go here, Ben?
Yeah. Actually, Oramis, decide which thing you're in. By the way, I put you there in the middle by accident. I didn't mean. I did mean to do that because that's how you sort of are. But all right. Yeah. I'll say you can push into that square. Gylndan.
Pray for me, boys.
I'm
Pray for
Brian.
me.
I'm Brian. Oh, the prayers of word.
Yeah, D4 on top of that.
Two-handed hit. Two-handed.
What, a D4 on top of the hit?
Yeah, because Bless is still active, so.
Boy.
Oh, it turned around. That's gonna be our highest roll to hit.
Yeah, that is 29. Damn.
Okay, I'm giving this the
Unfortunately,
full-
that doesn't hit. I'm afraid.
Oh, get in the bin, Ben.
Yeah, roll damage.
I'm giving this the full two-handed treatment.
Full two-handed treatment.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh.
12
Nice.
plus 1.
10 and a 1.
13.
Nice.
13 damage. Fuck. And are you giving it the old
Yes,
push?
yes, we're pushing him.
How far is the push? 10 or 15 feet? I always forget.
I think it's 10.
Alright, which way are you pushing him?
You
Sort
roll
of.
a D10, you roll a max damage D10 and then a min damage D10.
I know.
Are you
I also
pushing
feel like
him
he'd be nearly
here?
dead.
Or here.
He's going to go out here. Out here.
Okay, so 5, 10. You see this thing, you like Glyndon quite heroically runs up behind Oramis, swings back the thing with this sort of finesse, whacks this thing, shouts the command word. There is this sort of poof, and this sort of, you can see this like force of energy coming from the side of the staff, and suddenly you see someone like lands straight back in the water. You can see like you've probably broken a rib or two in that thing's chest. Coral flies off. It's sort of minimal armored coral sort of flies off its body.
Is he alive, Ben?
He is alive. He
By the
is
skin of his
still
teeth?
alive. Somewhat. He's definitely bloodied, so he's taken a fair bit of damage from you there, but he's just about still alive. We'll go back to the... no, we won't go back to the top of the round, because there is still one boy left.
Da-dum. Da-dum.
Shoot
that water, cracking.
Doc, bring him onto the boat.
An unnatural 20 on Doc. Doc, can you make me another strength saving throw, please?
Yeah.
Natural 20, it's fine. Oh no.
16, yeah, you're alright. That's 3.
Oh no.
3 plus 6 is 9, plus 4 is 13. You can take 13 damage from the shark bite as it leaps up and sort of grabs at you. A lot of its teeth sort of getting between the splints of your armor, but you manage to shake it off, like almost open its jaw back up and push it back into the water just before.
Oh, I said pull it on again.
Again, before it can sort of writhe around.
Using the hammer to like lever it up. And... Get off me, bastard!
Like opening up a beer bottle.
I'll say at this point, it's probably going to remain fairly visible, as well as it's sort of now getting a little bit annoyed, or maybe it'll fall back into the water, and it will move. But then you'll be able to see the wreckage here being disturbed by the fin that sort of is. You can just see this fin sort of moving above the water as it goes. Go back up to Oramis. Take it away, my boy.
Can I bonus action conceal blade on the guy next to me, please?
Of course, sir. Roll to hit, my dude.
Oh no.
Not a hit, I'm afraid. It's predicted your movement, swung right past.
That's a real shame.
That is a real shame.
Can I then attack it with the Shadow Blade?
Yeah, of course. Much better. Roll the damage, sir.
London.
There we go, that's better.
Very nicely done. You know, your first attack clearly misses, pulling out the Shadow Blade. Second attack, slash straight up, sort of straight up its side, flies back, lands heavily in the water with a big splash. It's completely gone.
Konzo.
Good heckin' shot, my boy. Anything else?
Just gonna move to here.
Move to there. Nice.
And can we either now or at the end of the next round take a quick drinks break?
Yeah. That's cool.
I'm happy to go now, but I know we just started a turn.
If we do it at the end of this set of turns, so we're on Oramis now, we'll just go through everyone. We'll try and make it real quick, and then we'll take a drinks break, and then we'll be back.
Sounds good.
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go, Mazzy.
Is the shark visible?
The shark is visible. You can see its fin above
I
the
am
water.
Hunter's marking the shark.
Wading through the water. Hunter's marking the shark. Excellent. I like that rhymes. That's your bonus action. Will you be attacking the shark?
We are attacking the shark.
Excellent. Definitely hits. Roll me the damage.
Dabbing the shark. Where is it? There it is.
8 plus 1, that's 7.
We'll take that.
Nice.
I am
So Ben,
How much is it?
No, I'm.
What did you
Oh,
say?
no, it has been a long day.
he said 8 plus 1. That's 7.
8 plus 1, that's 7. Quick maths. 9
7
damage.
plus 10.
Are you going to be attacking the shark again?
I hit the wrong one. That was an accident. That did not happen.
Mistake, suddenly.
Flinging off the boat. That's not it.
Oh, that's happened.
That's the one I meant. And we go again. That's a bit better. And we go again. Oh, well, that's pretty standard with the hunter's mark.
God damn.
That's 12, Ben, just to let you know.
Yeah, so you fire this very, very quick volley of 2 arrows. One sort of piercing its back, and the second one, you can almost see its eye look at you, and then you can't see its eye anymore because the second one just goes straight through. The shark rides very, very briefly before its head dips below the water and sinks.
Oh, I'd rather it
These
did.
sharks.
Dies.
It dies.
Yay.
Oh, well done, Matt.
Good job, Matt. There are 2 sea spawn left on the ship. Is that everything on your turn, Matt?
Yeah, I'll put the bow away and start to get out the big sword, but I won't move anywhere, so it's fine.
Okay. There are 2 sea spawn left. This one here, so befuddled by the attack, is... Ooh, what's he going to do? What's these things? Okay, so these things... Intelligence is -2. No, it still thinks it has a chance. It's going to very, very quickly swim and try and have a grab at Gylndan, I think. Can you make me a strength save? A lot of strength saves.
Alright, it's been going.
This thing.
Alright, it's big hopes. Oh no.
Oh no.
And unfortunately, it did hit. I did that the complete wrong around. I was meant to tell you it hit, and then the strength save. And then, so if you want to cast shield, you can do.
That's alright, go for it.
Cool. Could you please take for me 5 piercing damage from its claw? And unfortunately, it will drag you into the water and use what's left of its movement. So move 10 feet to go there, 5 feet to pull you in, and will push you now 5 feet down underneath the water.
Oh.
On your next turn, you have to make a
Took a
con
breath.
save to see if you are about to drown. Have fun.
Oh, I didn't see this.
I know you can hold your breath for a minute or thing, but if it hits him, you have to make a... Well, yeah, if it hits, he has to make a con save to see if he doesn't drown or doesn't get...
His, like,
Yeah, if he can maintain... Yeah. 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 But yeah, you can hold your breath for an amount of time, which is a minute, plus your
It's 1
Constitution
plus
modifier?
Constitution modifier in minutes.
fucking hell.
Yeah,
That's a lot of minutes.
yeah.
Anyway,
It's bonkers.
that is absolutely insane. So, Gylndan, how long could you hold your breath for?
So you say it's 1 plus your Constitution modifier.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Everyone's going to wait 1 minute and
I've got
59
4
seconds. Got 4 minutes.
You're
goddamn.
a seaman.
And this
fair.
one up top is going to have an attack at you, Dokrumir. Oh, but it's going to miss. Oh, so tragically. With a 2. You can see it just like brings this claw. It's quite a heavy claw now in its hand. Tries to sort of swing down at you, but you very, very easily predict its movement. The sort of shaking of the boat makes it sort of stumble a little bit as it does. It is now your turn, Doc.
I'm gonna, if I have any awareness of the situation, I'll be like, Oramis, Mazzy, get Gylndan, I got this. I don't got this.
You don't got this. Another wave shakes the boat briefly, and as you sort of swing your hammer, unfortunately, your movement is sort of shaken. You fumble, you fall to your knees a little bit, slipping under the water that's like washed now onto the boat. You slowly pull yourself up as this thing is also just trying to like keep itself steady.
Sorry.
Glyndon, it is your turn. You're under the water. It hasn't hit you, so you don't have to make a con save. You can make a strength save to try and break free.
Can I use this cantrip? It's verbal. Do I have to break free of
Verbal.
it to use a cantrip, or
If it's verbal, no, but you're underwater. So
you can still speak underwater?
Yeah, you can still speak underwater. Yeah, I'll say you can use a
Yeah,
cantrip.
I suppose you could speak because you've technically got air in your lungs, but then you're using that air, so the time comes down that you can hold your breath.
I'd probably agree. Once you drive to a creature you can see within range of target must see an intelligence saving throw. Will take 1d6.
I didn't mean to do that roll, by the way, but I'm happy for you to take it if you want.
And throw 1d4 for the next saving throw makes for the end of the next turn. I'll.
I'm alright with that. I'm alright with that roll, actually. So do it.
Yeah. If that's what you want to do, yeah, of course. So it needs to make a.
Intelligence saving
Oh
throw.
dear lord! -2 on intelligence did not do it favored there. It got a 15 and got -2, so that's 13. It takes the full 7 whack. And what do you sort of imagine your mind sliver looks like, Glyndon, when you cast it?
That's a good question. So I think I have to picture the little bit of energy, and it's a little thing that sort of goes from me and then just goes into its head. So it's not anything physical. It's just I picture it happening, and then that's.
So you picture this sort of sliver going into this thing's mind, and you can sort of picture it going out of your thing, hammering into its head and making its way sort of into its brain, killing it. And that is. And unfortunately, that is exactly what happens. As you say the words, the verbal components for Mind Sliver, you can just feel this thing just sort of like. And it lets you go and falls deeper down into the ocean.
That is cool.
It is dead. Whew. Look at that. That is technically the end of the thing, but I'm happy if we want to just finish off this one last one who is already pretty hurt, and then we go for a break. Probably might, unless people want to go for a break now.
Let's just go for a break. Quick
Yeah,
break.
fair enough.
Yeah. All right.
Go for a break.
All right.
Whose go is it?
Oops, let's be fair. Oramis, top of the round. Oramis. There is one sea spawn left on the ship. He has a massive claw for arms. Coral sticks out everywhere. There's this big starfish sort of crusted into his chest. Very Davy Jones crew style thing, but with much less armor and pirate-like stuff. Let's get him.
All right.
Kick his ass. Still hits. Roll damage.
Okay.
5 damage. Roll the sneak attack, boy.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Oh,
9.
sort of nice.
Yeah, half. Very nicely done. Is he still
dead,
alive? Let me just think. So
If he's not, Mazzy's got the easiest kill of his entire.
he is not dead, but
Oh, no.
I sort of think
Because Mazzy's turn is not yet coming. Because I also have an attack. Eldritch Blast, am I too close to roll that, or would I roll that with disadvantage? How would
you
that
roll
work?
with disadvantage because you also can't. No, yeah, you could do that as a.
Eldritch Blast is an action.
Not Shadow Blade. Sorry, I thought you called it Shadow Blade.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's concealed blade.
Yeah, Eldritch Blast, you would do it at disadvantage because you're within 5 feet.
Shadow.
Yeah, Shadow Blade.
Mhm.
I just didn't want Mazzy to have any chance of having, so I was have
Well,
to attack
not roll poorly.
Eldritch Blast. So let's
Luke, you know what?
All that chat, and this is what he comes out with.
I mean, you could.
Gylndan,
Mazzy's
have
got
you
no
seen
way
this?
around.
No,
I mean, I doubt.
If you decide not to
there-
let
there
him
is-
space.
That's true. There's no way. he's
Can I
got
do
too
like a
much space.
what do I have to roll? Like a athletics check if I went round there? I'll take it if I can.
I would say more like acrobatics check to move
Yeah,
around.
that's fair.
Have you
Around
fallen?
that. So roll thingy check. So yeah, Oramis, on your turn, you've managed to
Can
sort
I
of
use my
concealed
attack of
blade.
opportunity to push
Swipe.
Mazzy into the water?
I'm doing it anyway, and I hope you're not a bad friend.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were another one of those monsters,
Oh, there's
Mazzy.
something behind you. I didn't realise. What the-
Yeah, so Oramis, on your turn, you managed to find a crack between the sort of bits of coral, stab concealed blade right through, but it's still just about sort of remaining up. It's stumbling around. Mazzy, make an acrobatics check first.
Here we go.
Oh my
Oh,
lord!
he's run rings around you.
You bastard.
He's
Can't wait
run
for you
rings
to
around
roll a
He's
20 on the check to
he's
then
done
not
a
hit.
Freaking flip.
I mean, I've got advantage.
Get around.
Oh, that'll be
You would have advantage if you were here.
Wait, where?
If you were
Really?
now where you are.
Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
not,
I mean,
not here. Here.
sorry, I wasn't. Yeah, fine.
roll.
No problem.
Roll the hit, sir.
Hunter's mark because I can't remember, but making sure it's on this guy.
Yes. You would have to recast it again, but yes.
Yeah, I'll take a spell off then. For absolutely no point reason. Right, I've hit the wrong button. Oh, the.
Hang on,
That's,
hang on.
that's a longbow.
Why
Oh,
are
fuck's
you
sake. Sorry, that was an accident.
No, you've rolled it now. You've rolled it now. You've rolled
No, but if he rolls it again, you might miss. That's the thing. If he rolls it again, you might miss.
Yeah, roll it again. With longbow though.
With dual sword.
He's got
He's
With
missed.
advantage?
He's missed. No.
With advantage?
Yeah.
No, no,
He hit
no,
even without
no.
advantage.
I don't give him
He's
flanking.
terrible.
I actually move out of the way.
What do I have to give for flanking? Because I'm not giving that.
Uncanny dodge to move here.
You're fucking around with this goddamn sea sport. You're all having a joke and a laugh about who's gonna kill this thing, and that's just
Yeah.
it.
Luke, you know that thing Jojo put in the chat about the food? It's not real. Like, it's not. We're not doing that. You don't win food if you kill it.
Mazzy, how do you kill the final sequel?
Oh, get wrecked. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stab it right up the back, hold it on my dual sword, just dangle it in front of Oramis's face, just a little bit, just turn it, and then just chuck it over the side.
That's rude.
You dangle it sort of in front of Oramis's face, its body just like you can see now, all this like it's got way too much saliva and blood just dripping down from its mouth. Sort of this weird slime and ichor getting over the deck of the boat, and then you throw it off to the side, casting it off like a piece of trash, lands hard in the water and sinks down below the depths. It's not quiet, however, because there is still obviously the storm going on, but there doesn't seem to be anything else around for the minute. You can get
Gylndan back in the boat, by the way.
Can we hold Gylndan back on?
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys can go over and haul Gylndan back up. He's not wearing any armor, so I'll say, if two of you go over, you don't have to make a check. You can just pull him back up. The waves are also, again, like I said, being broken by the many, many rocks that are between you and the storm and the sea out front. And if there's nothing anyone wants to do while here, you can make your way out of this rocky place through the storm.
Yeah, as much as I want to go diving through all this for cool treasure, I don't really think during a storm is the right opportunity.
No, let's. Any chance we could? Probably not. Any chance we could get the shark for meat and take a couple of rations?
You can probably assume by now the shark is
arrows.
Quite a bit. You can go down diving for it, but it'll be a long time.
It's cool.
No. All right. And with that all being done, you can get back on the boat. You can get Gylndan back on the boat. You hoist the sails once more, the full mast dropping down, tying it off, and you eventually, after a little while waiting, get the boat back onto the way with a little help from the oars as well, to sort of just get it started moving. You find getting out of the place is just as hard as getting out of this sort of mess of rocks and stuff. So can you make me another water vehicles check, Oramis, to get out unscathed?
Any chance of some support from the boys?
Yeah, if there's any skills or any spells anyone thinks could be useful, now is the time. Unfortunately, now is not the time. Cool. Guidance. Roll a d4. Add it on. 17. Yeah, you can make it out of there perfectly fine. Now, a little bit more alert and aware to the dangers of this place, you are able to almost weave between these rocks. Weaving between the rocks, able to get out safely. And as you leave the rocks, within the hour, the storm begins to pass. You can see the storm clouds rolling over more of Ambyr itself. The high winds keep up, but the storm eventually fades and passes. What's on the agenda for the rest of the... Nothing is on the agenda for the rest of the day. It is a quiet day, making your way up and up and up over to the up to Northgard. As nightfall dawns, there is plenty of beach for you to set alongside. If you want to sort of dock up there and take a night's rest. In which case, we will need people to make watch. If everyone is taking watch, we'll need people to take watch through the night as you stay on the side of this sort of banky beach. The beach dunes sort of leading up along the way. Oh, he's back. How many is that? 5 in one session? Oh dear lord. Hold on before everyone
rolls.
Before everyone's rolling perception, Gylndan. Okay. Whoa. Before everyone rolls perception, Gylndan, also roll me 1d12 to perhaps get a random encounter.
Ben, can I just get things right in my mind? So we had a day out, stayed in
Criggan.
Had the day with the storm.
Day with the storm. You are now
This
the
is now
end
the
of
night.
that day. This is now the night of the day with the storm.
Right. Sorry, I misunderstood.
This is the evening. So 11. You are more concerned with how bad things have sort of been going today. You didn't necessarily keep all of your food down because of the sort of seasickness. You're just thankful now to be back on land. So your perception was a little off. But your shift is quiet. Your shift is very, very quiet. Nothing seems to happen, but the clouds overhead beginning to disperse. You can now see some of the night sky, plenty of stars above you. Oramis, you rolled 10. Roll me d12. 7. With your perception, you can't necessarily see anything. You are a little bit more alert, but you're more worried about the state of your ship. You're sort of maybe during your things checking over some of the wreckage of the boat and just making sure that it's still in good working order, which you can which you sort of make sure it is. Otherwise, you're just sitting around thinking about random stuff, watching the sort of clouds disperse even more, looking up at the never-ending sky above you. Mazzy, you rolled a 6 perception. Roll me a d12. You don't realize where they've come from, nor do you realize how long they've been there. But looking over a couple of 100 yards to your just across the way, you can see a group of hooded figures on the beach. They stand in a circle, a fire in the middle of them, and they're clearly like chanting something. There, all their hands are in the air. They're trying to chant different things and saying different things. They're waving their hands at some point. You can make another perception check to see if you would have now realised them with the chanting. You can make a perception check to see if you can sort of realise what they're saying. 17. Right. The 17, you can hear a couple of things. It seems like they're chanting something, like some kind of mantra. You're not quite sure what it is. It's in a language you don't quite understand, but you do hear the words Nihim Kraken. Something to do with a kraken, a creature you may have heard of. It's a creature of myth and legend in Ambyr. This huge creature with the powers to take down a god that roams through the sea, sort of preying on those who have wronged the ocean or done great wrongs to people or whatever. No one's really sure if it's true or not. These guys clearly seem to think it is, as they sort of chant and everything over the sea. Are you going to do anything, or
they don't look like they're in the mood to attack? So I'm not going to do anything.
Okay, yeah. You leave them. They do their chant. They continue their chant for a little while longer, and after a while, something moves in the ocean. There is a ripple, a strange feeling, and suddenly from the ocean a figure walks out, dressed in these long robes and netting. He walks over to the group of men, and from underneath a robe, one of the men hands over what looks like a child. A small infant child.
Oh my god.
To the man who's appeared from the water. From here you can see that he is extremely pale. Like I said, these long sort of robes and this netting, seaweed, sort of coral growing in places, no hair, completely bald, this sort of light blue skin. He takes the child, kisses the child on its head, and turns to walk back into the ocean after bowing to the gentleman there. Are you to do anything, or are you going to leave him?
Is he taking the child with him?
Yeah, I assume so.
Yeah, he's taking the child into the depths of the water.
As much as this is wrong, I don't think that we'd be in a position, if I'm going to wake everyone up, to come in and sort of have a fight to stop this happening. So, against my will, I'm going to let it happen, and just keep an eye on everyone to make sure that nobody comes along to basically attack us.
Yeah, all right. You watch as the person walks into the water with the child. Just before hitting the water, some water splashes over the child and it begins to stir awake. It cries into the night, but its cries are soon muffled as it's dragged beneath the water and taken.
Jesus.
Ben, you are messed up, my man.
After a little while longer, a little more of this chanting. The chanting is now changed after whatever has come has taken the child. It's now a little more of a joyful chanting. There's a bit more rhythm to it, and the people are now walking around in the circle, not just stood still. And after a couple of minutes of doing this, they eventually pack up, they douse the fire, they make sure that the fire isn't sort of left there, they disperse the thing, making sure that the place is as they found it, and the group walk back up the dunes and away from your sight. Dokrumir, can you roll me a perception check and a d12?
Can I tell Dokrumir what I just saw while we switch?
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna re-Mazzy the fuck out for letting that thing take a child.
I didn't know what to do, sorry.
Oh, he is getting a proper earful on morally right and wrong, letting a child just be dragged away.
He gave good reasoning. I think we would have been in a tough spot.
If we were all awake, I would have definitely gone and done it. But
Wake us all up?
Wake us up.
Yeah.
Fuck up.
what time would this be?
This would be about
time.
2 in the morning, maybe.
Yeah, you're not going to be
one or 2 in the morning.
ready to fight. You're in a deep sleep.
Mazzy, we're always ready. We're always ready.
My bad decision.
Always ready for the right calls.
Oh, Mazzy's getting a proper earful.
Yeah, I'm just going to go to sleep and not listen.
Okay, that doesn't help your case at all.
Alright,
Cold-hearted.
and
Okay.
Dokrumir,
And a D12.
indeed.
Another baby is taken into the ocean. What do you do?
No. I'm not seeing your perception check, but
I've got a
with a
17. No, that's Mazzy's perception.
that's
Sorry,
Mazzy's
I rolled
perception
that.
check.
There you go.
Oh,
It doesn't matter either way. Your shift goes without incident. You watch as the sunrise glistens over the water. The clouds have now somewhat dispersed, and the day is a little bit cloudy, but you can still see the sun lighting up. You are on the west side, so that you can see sort of the sun. Wait, does the sun rises in the east? So actually,
Yeah.
you can see it sort of reflecting off the water in front of you. But the dunes cast a shadow over you guys currently. There's a cold chill in the air, but a new day has dawned. You can all refill spell slots and all this, yada 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 yada. And we continue on with the travel on what should be the final day of the travel.
Ben, I'm gonna see Doc staring absolute daggers at Mazzy and just go, "What's happened here?"
I'm gonna let Mazzy tell that one.
What's
well,
up, Mazzy?
you see, some people came to the beach while you all were sleeping.
Oh right, what kind of people?
Some really quite freaky people. They basically were chanting and doing some shit and sacrificed a child to some sort of sea god thing. I wasn't sure.
And you
Cracking.
didn't intervene?
For the better of the party, I didn't. I'm
Ooh.
regretting this decision.
That's a tough line.
I can imagine Doc's just like, no, walk in after him. Go.
I think he's
We'll see you in
not to be that guy.
Actually,
I think he's long dead.
Mazzy,
Yo,
I know who that was. I know where he lives. Do you want me to drop you off?
only if you come with me.
You can all pack up your stuff and you get on your way. It's around 8 o'clock in the morning. Like I said, the weather has improved, and for Oramis, it's a much easier ride for you. You barely have to sail the ship. It's literally just
Plain sailing, as they say.
Pretty much, yeah. It's pretty much just keeping the rudder ready. The wind is very nicely in your favor. Things are going quite smoothly, actually. Until that is, in the distance, you can see this one large frigate.
Oh no.
Around the frigate are 4 smaller flagships. Now, these ships are not the traditional style of ship that you might see. They have this almost like golden colored metal that surrounds some of the trim of the ship. They are also much more sleek, longer, much more elegant. The sails are embroidered in such beautiful patterns and with this almost like metallic weave that glistens in the sunlight. And as they get closer, you recognize these ships as ships of the Navy of White Parish, elven ships. Aboard each of the smaller flagships are soldiers that stand very, very proud, each of the soldiers doing their duty. Now, you guys would know in White Parish, they have sent soldiers up to the north. They don't have they don't have like archers and swordsmen. Like, they're very famous for, being all-round awesome fighters.
Warriors.
They can do like everything. Which is always handy. So you can see all these guys sort of on the ships, the people sort of at the sides holding longbows, very, very stern, very, very thing. They're all elves, all like high elves or some form of elf. And they pay very close attention to your ship as you pass. Can everyone make me a perception check? Just as the ship begins to pass your way. Ooh, Dokrumir, that's a damn good one. Mazzy, that's also right.
Oh, Gylndan, just get in the ocean, get in the sea.
Gylndan still would do this at disadvantage because he's still got seasickness. Is sort of reeling over the boat. He's trying to look really professional in front of all of these like very, very high elven flagships, and then suddenly turns to hurl over the side of the ship.
Because it's perception, it's you 3 looking off one side at the ships and me on the other side saying, "What? I can't see anything."
The rest of you, however, and pretty much all of you actually, as you pass the group of ships, you hear something rather interesting. So like I said, there is a main frigate in the middle. And from the inside of the frigate, you can hear something dark, something brooding. Inside this frigate, there is something alive, and it roars with a roar that you've never really heard before. With the roar comes the rattling of chains, and the roar echoes out throughout the waters. This goes on for a couple of minutes just as you pass. The elven soldiers now looking at you much more sternly. Maybe a couple of them just place hands near quivers, just in case. But then suddenly as you watch the frigate, a bright light shines through the portholes, and the ship goes dead silent. Would anyone like to do anything at this point, or keep on going?
Keep on going. Sidle on through.
I really want to shout.
Can we roll
at them.
some like investigation just to try and work out what's happened? Will it help?
Yeah, you could roll me either an Arcana check or a Nature check.
Well, both mine are +2, so let's just go with Arcana.
I probably should have said the Arcana check would be to sort of see what the spell might have been. The Nature check would be to sort of try see if you can try and identify what the roar was. So you can roll them both if you really want to.
I think I will, because to be fair, I would prefer to see what the was.
Without Arcana check, you're all pretty sure that was a spell. Must have been cast by quite a powerful person to take control over the beast, make it be silent. You're probably aware that was some quite powerful spell. Mazzy, your nature check. You remember that sound. That is a sound you've heard only a couple of times before. Well, actually, yeah,
Last night?
yeah, like I said, only a couple of times before. Mainly when you were back in Northgard.
Ooh.
Above Northgard, actually, when you were in the Sanctuary of the Dragons. You are pretty damn sure that sounded like a dragon.
Oh.
Like, damn sure that sounded like a dragon. That sounded very similar, not exactly like Alba's. You're pretty sure that wasn't Alba's. Alba's would never fit in a ship like that. Nor necessarily might. Actually, Dazra might, but again, it didn't sound very much like him. It sounded much deeper. But it was definitely the throng of a dragon. Some kind of dragon-ish.
So, the elves of White Parish have A, a dragon, and B, someone powerful enough to control it. That's scary.
It might appear that way.
We definitely sidle on through here.
But we're duty bound to protect the dragons of Ambyr.
But we are a
I
severe
mean, we can't
disadvantage on
do
this boat.
like, protecting if we're all dead.
We can't storm the boat.
This boat is gonna pull over at some point to refuel, you know? Pick up some supplies.
Maybe then, yes, but at the moment, all we've got is...
Are we going to stealth sail behind it?
4, 5 boats, is it?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's 4 small, like, almost think like gunships, like schooner-sized boats, with lots of elves on board each. The ships with cannons, and plenty of sort of elves, each with bows. And the middle ship, like I said, quite a large frigate.
Yeah. So
Sounds a sensible thing, Oramis.
At the moment, yeah. I doubt they're going to invite us on.
Can we... Okay, fine.
No.
Fine. It's not often... Just everyone remember this, because Oramis often isn't the moral compass of the group,
I
so...
agree we should do something. I just think that doing something right now...
It's not the most sensible use. Yeah.
Also, bear in mind, White Parish is still a little ways to go. You can maybe see White Parish off in the distance. However, these are passing you now. These boats are going south.
And there's no way of telling where they're going.
Just somewhere south.
Yeah. Okay.
Oramis.
These aren't like
Oramis.
anchored outside Northgard then.
They're travelling
Pardon?
south.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought
they are clearly travelling south. You haven't yet.
Oramis, can you shout out as like a sailor? Just make it seem like you're asking where they're going to give them advice. Like, oh, it's a bit choppy down there.
Where are you heading? We've just been through a storm. I can
That is
tell
good to
you
know.
where if you tell me where you're going. I don't say that last bit.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. We will keep on our guard. You'd be best to get away from here, says one of the men. One of the sort of quite. You can tell he's quite a high-ranking officer of one of the ships. He has this cape adorned on his quite elegant armor. He shouts back and then continues about his business. He looks very, very stern, very, very, like, almost trying to be somewhat intimidating. But he doesn't tell you where he's going.
Thank you for the advice. Why should we not hang around too much longer?
What do you say? Well, why should we not hang around too much? Why should we not hang around too much longer? I think he probably wouldn't say anything at this point. He's probably just like way too concerned.
Just ignoring us.
Pretty much just ignoring the tiny little boat going by. Like, you trying to give us advice. Do you know who we are? You know, we're the we're part of the navy of White Parish. Of course, we know what the hell's what the hell we are. So we don't really need to talk to you all about you or whatever. And very soon they're quite a ways away, unless you wanted to shout out anything else.
I don't want to shout anything else out. And I don't have anything clever to do either, so...
Call it there.
I'll call it.
Fair enough. It is another hour or two, probably more, maybe 3.
Before we go too far, if you're certain that was a dragon, and Oramis, you definitely think we need to do something, what are our chances of following this boat by stealth? And is that more important than freeing the city of Northgard?
The people of Ambyr will probably disagree with this decision, but I'd say it's more important for us as the Guardians to follow the dragon.
We are honor bound to the dragons, and this is a boat for smuggling.
Smuggling a dragon?
Smuggling us. Like,
Yeah.
I imagine it's a small boat, you know, you could stealthily follow them.
The only problem with that is that they've already had a good eyeball of us.
That's true.
It's a big decision. I could sort of tell from the vision I had that I think Northgard's just going to keep getting sieged. So that it won't make a difference if we go back in a week or a month.
What do we think they're going to plan to do with this dragon?
Well, if they're taming it, it's a weapon, surely.
That is the
So-
thing we need to find out. If we're going to go...
Because could we come back to it, sort of thing?
Also remember, the longer you wait to do that tower, the more demons and things are going to spawn from it as well.
Would the dragon be helpful?
Okay, I tell you what.
Taking down the tower? I don't know.
How about we know what those boats look like. We've got, you know, they've eyeballed us, but we have a pretty good.
Yeah, it's not like they would be hard to find if we came back down this way. People would.
Yeah, that's
recognise
what I'm thinking. Maybe we finish up the mission up here and then head down south.
They are probably now a couple of hundred, maybe like a couple of hundred meters away.
Okay, too far.
I'd probably say that you can make a retrospective intelligence check to try and see if you could. Obviously, each of these boats are named. You can maybe try and find out the name of the boat. See if you can, if any of you maybe saw the name of the boat.
Bit too late to detect magic.
Bit too late to cast detect magic. Probably, yeah. Probably a little too late to cast detect magic. Besides, detect magic has a range, does it not?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Ooh.
Give me all of the
cast
boat
it on
names.
You cast it on yourself, and then you can see up to. So it's only got I can only see 30 feet with it. So.
Oh yeah. Also, those ships would have been much further than 30 feet away from you, like on a boat. Like your tiny boat, 30 feet near that boat, there would have been a lot of waves and stuff for the safety of the ship. And the schooners were more than 30 feet away from the middle ship itself.
Okay.
They were keeping like quite a wide, not necessarily a wide thing, but if you think this is a massive frigate, and schooners are pretty big on themselves, so no. You were maybe like 50 to 100 meters away from the frigate at all times, something like that.
Ben,
I think.
Yes.
give me all the boat names.
Give you all the boat names. The schooners and stuff didn't necessarily have a name, but the main frigate did have a name. The Quickleaf.
I think I like Oramis's plan. I think we could track this down later.
As we
And also, if we continue on our direction, we can then go. Now we know the boat name. We can go and find out where it came from and try and get some information
That's true.
from where it's been.
Could I suggest on our journey up, while we're sailing past and we're talking about this as a group, that perhaps we try and do a stealth mission onto the boat? Maybe find it at a port somewhere and try and stealth onto the boat. And
I like that purely for the fact that I haven't been involved in a stealth mission yet.
Well, you never know. Maybe there's one. Maybe you could find a way to use a bit of stealth for taking back Northgard.
True.
You never know.
Just just a suggestion.
Yeah. That's fair.
I think, although we are bound to protect the dragons, I think part of freeing Northgard is to help with Tiamat, which is the problem with the dragons. So there's honour to both, I think.
There's layers to our duty.
Yeah.
Let's crack on. Let's head up north.
Good.
All right. You crack on, heading. I'm aware it's 10:30, by the way. So
I'd rather you didn't say crack on like that while we're on the ocean, Ben, please. It gives me nightmares.
You continue on your way. You pass around White Parish. White Parish, the gleaming city of the elves. It's pure sort of white walls, sort of gleaming white walls, reflecting in the sunlight. Around White Parish's bay and its docks, there is a sort of barricade, not a barricade, a formation of ships every couple of 100 meters, sort of in a semicircle around the bay, of these schooner gunships, again with these sort of proud soldiers standing there, making sure that nothing quite disastrous gets too close to the bay. These are unsettling times. They allow you to pass through easily, and you're able to sort of head on through their barricade or around it, all the way up to the north. And by this point, quite late on in the day, just about as it's getting dark, you are able to make it to these set of rivers. Around the rivers, sort of in between these two rivers here, in the distance you can see a plume of smoke, like a camp. And then there's more and more and more, and suddenly you can see the camp of the army of Ambyr. A vast camp, hundreds, thousands of tents even. And in the distance you can see Northgard itself, this huge city atop these high cliffs, the spire of Northgard. You can see from up there, you'd be able to see from miles around. You can see it. You can see it from here now. You traverse down one of these rivers, and soon you see a bridge. Upon the bridge are two soldiers. The soldiers each hold a heavy crossbow each. They're very, very well armoured, but they both look tired and weary. One of them has a little trickle of blood from a small scar coming down the side of his head. And he's looking, and they look around. Oi! You lot, what's your business up here?
We're here to aid with the siege, my good man. Take us to your commander.
Aid with the siege? Oh, you lot aren't soldiers. What? And then one of them slaps the other in the face. Wait, don't say bloody Daviak in that boat. That ain't General Daviak, idiot. He had done another scar. Oh, Mazzy then is right. Captain Mazzy. All right, mate.
Hey, finally somebody actually knows who I am.
Yeah, brothers talked about you loads. Couple hundred meters up the river. Park your boat up there. You'll see a small camp. General Daviak is actually quite eager to see you. To see you. Just obviously tell them who you are, or show your
I think
face,
you'll know
probably.
who I am. Don't worry.
Yeah, I think you'll know who you are, and you can head right through. And you pass underneath the bridge, and that is exactly what you do. You make your way to this small sort of dock. The men at the docks tell you that they will take care of the Dragon's Revenge until you need it. It will be there. It is about here. If you can see on this river here, this quite sharp turn, that's where the Dragon's Revenge is currently being kept. But it is right next to the camp. of soldiers. Now, if I can just quickly do this, and then we can call it there for the session. So, as you walk through the camp, you can really sense the toll it's taken on the soldiers within. Elves, dwarves, humans, tieflings make up most of the camp. However, there are a select few halflings and gnomes that can be spotted amongst the tents, keeping mainly to themselves, playing games of dice and things like that. Soldiers fix straps on armor, sharpen weapons, and play games of dice to try and forget the horrors of this bloody war. You notice a few sneak in a few hours of sleep while they can before heading back out to siege the city. Walking by a medical tent, soldiers are cured for nursing by staff and fellow clerics of Apollo. They rush between patients very, very quickly and hesitantly, and again, you can see maybe a couple trying to sneak in a couple of hours of sleep where they can. There are a lot of casualties to this war. Eventually, you make it to a set of larger tents, much larger tents, all surrounding one central open tent. Within the tent, you see Davyak, dressed in his full regalia, dirty and bloodied, discussing military strategy with 4 other men by his side. One is a warrior, in armor of a different style and make to that of the common soldier in Ambyr. Over his face, a black mask, and at his hip he holds a proud katana. Another, a proud leonin, a humanoid with fur around the head of a lion, a sword at his side, and various instruments at his back over his ornate leather-studded armor. On the other side of Davyak, another human dressed in green robes and leather armor, a sturdy shield at his back and staff at his side. On his armor, sort of engravings of natural beings and wildlife, such as leaves, flowers, and trees. And finally, in the corner of the tent, standing at a staggering 7 feet tall, a minotaur. Traditionally, in Ambyr, you know these creatures to be quite feral and wild, but this minotaur is not of Ambyr. His huge horns poke at the tent, and at his back, a large club, almost half his size. Davyak immediately recognizes you as you walk up. Oh my god, thank fuck you're here. Mazzy, gents. And he immediately runs up to you, tries to give Mazzy a quite brotherly hug, and he shakes the rest of your hands. Gentlemen.
Another hug.
Gentlemen, meet my team. I guess this is Nevedo, Giri, we call him Mittens, and Balzanor. On the other side... What's called?
Balzanor.
Balzanor. Balzanor.
On the other side of all of this, you have all been stood here for hours strategizing with Davyak. You're tired and desperate to get this war over and done with. And as you talk, however, you notice a group led towards you by one of the soldiers. You see a human in green robes and a metal staff with a dragon at its head. A large tome in his other hand. You can probably guess he's a wizard. A human that looks the spitting image of Davyak, but without the scar or burn on his face. A half-elf in a sailor's jacket and a hand crossbow strapped to his side, and the look of mischief on his face. And finally a dwarf, with a large, plaited beard and heavy armor, white robes of a healer over him, and the holy symbol of Apollo at his side. You see these gentlemen walk up to you quite expectantly. Davyak goes and shakes their hand. He seems to know them. This is rather weird playing 2 of you. And you have all finally met each other.
Can Giri whisper to the other 3? What a bunch of pussies.
Sorry, go on, Ben.
If everyone's alright to just hold on for just 2 more minutes while I explain stuff, because then it leaves the rest of the week for you guys to chat about stuff so I can get stuff prepared for next session, and I'm not trying to guess.
Can I just nip in and retroactively... I've been working out the number of words, which is something like I would have done on the boat as it was going. I want to do a sending spell.
Yeah.
So I've just been working out the words, and I'm gonna send to Meredith again.
Yep.
And just be like, ask Albus, suspected dragon encounter on elf navy boat heading south from Northgard. Will investigate soon. Have to free Northgard first. Please advise.
Okay. Do you mind if I tell you the reply after the session.
Yeah,
Send that
that's
to,
fine.
send that to me now, and I will
Yeah.
and I will tell you sort of after the session.
Changing all the words and be like, is that 25? Is that 25?
Yeah, that's fair. You greet each other and begin discussing, and finally Daviak says, "Okay, we're all here for a reason. We need to take back Northgard. Things are going to hell, and as we've discussed, as we've all discussed many a time, the men need to go back home. The men need to protect against all this shit with the tower. We can all catch up on that later. So here's the lowdown. Northgard is protected by a lot of orcs and goblins and ogres. All the random crap in the north that, unfortunately, I was once in charge of. It's not quite as simple as sieging a city, though. You guys might not know this, but they now began praying to something called Grumsh, a god of war, of tyranny, of orcs and goblins alike, who is also the commander of the 5th layer of hell, apparently. He is ferocious and cruel, but also damn smart when it comes to military strategy. He places green fire, or he has his men place green fires in and around the area. Through this fire, he can see the surrounding area for miles and miles around. That's why there is a green flame on the top of the spire of Northgard. He can see every attack we make, every ambush, every time we try and attack their forces or units. He's seen it all, and he warns their devastators, their hobgoblins, who he's given magical power. They then speak through him, or he speaks through them and advises thusly. This is a problem, but one we may have found a way to circumvent. Last week, there was one of the bloodiest days of the siege we've ever faced. While this was going on, us 5, we snuck around the north to try and ambush one of their supply runs. Usually, when this happens, Grumsh will warn them, but he didn't this time. We ambushed them easily, and we think we know why. At his heart, Grumsh is an orc. He can be distracted. He loves and craves violence. The 5th layer of hell is just one massive fucking war. So I think a big enough distraction might just be enough. So here's my thinking. We need a distraction. 4 of us need to make one big distraction. Enough to distract the god of all orcs. Enough to distract the commander of the 5th layer of fucking hell. With this distraction, the other group can slip in to Northgard, get to the tower, get to the spire, and blow that thing to fucking hell, destroying the flame, taking it down. All the orcs will lose their power, their magical powers. Grumsh won't be able to see what's going on, and maybe they can cause some havoc inside the city too. And once that's happened, I will lead the army of fucking thousands of men, and we will make one final push against the orcs. The only problem is we don't know what the distraction could be, and that's where I might need you guys' help. I know you guys haven't met Nevado, but this guy can throw lightning like nothing else. And Balzanor, well, I'm afraid to say the words F-I-R-E around him for fear of, well, sparking something up. Gylndan, I've seen your power. Dokrumir, you too. I think we might just have a shot here. This idea, it could work, but I'm going to need your help. And there's going to be 4 of you on each team. So choose who you want to pick for these teams wisely. Let's get this done, gentlemen. And we will end the session there.
Oh boy.
It's the biggest crossover episode in the history of Ambyr. It was coming up.